This conference will now be recorded.
All had a chance to take a look at the agenda. Is there any additions or corrections to that?
Mr. Chairman, at 10 o'clock, the Natural Resources Committee will come with a draft MOU for, I think, district-wide cooperative agency status, not just for the benchmark project. Other than that, I don't know of any changes.
Motion to approve it as amended.
Second.
Great, been motioned by Tisdale and seconded by, we'll give to Comer, I think, to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries. Any conflicts today?
Nope.
No. You all had a chance to look at the minutes, I'm sure, from last time.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Ewing, seconded by Tisdale to approve the minutes from the March 24th, 28th meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Okay, minutes are approved. You also had a chance to look at the bills. Did you have any questions on the bills?
Not at all. Move to approve the
There's
bills.
a lot of them, but they're all, second.
I'll second.
Okay, been moved by Tisdale, second by Comer to approve the bills for this week. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Okay. Personnel issue.
I have 4 different requests before you today. From the sheriff's office, I have Stone Thurhune as a full-time permanent deputy 1, grade 3, base pay of $33.33, which will be effective on April 5th. And then a new hire, Kyle Parks, he will be a full-time permanent deputy 1, grade 2, base pay of $32.37. That'll be effective April 14th, 26. I also have a cell phone premium of $104 for Kyle Parks, also effective on April 14th. And then also for information systems and technology, a cell phone per diem of $75 per month for Shawnee Lafferty, and that will be effective April 13th.
What would we like to do with these?
Move to approve.
Second.
And moved by Tisdale, second by Flanagan to approve all of the personnel requests. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Okay, that gets approved. Travel requests.
Chairman, I have one travel request. This is an amendment to the travel request from Jamie Pasika Olson and Marina Cleveland to attend the FBI LEEDA Supervisors Leadership Institute. And they are, instead of going, this was approved at the last meeting, they are now going to go to Bozeman, Montana on July 12th through the 17th. So just adjusting the place and the date.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, been moved by Comer and seconded by Tisdale to approve the travel request for the Sika and Cleveland. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Okay. Motion passes also. And the auditors account the treasurer when you get a chance.
As of March 31st, 2026, total amount of deposits in the banks is $20,902,623.06. Included in that total is the bank balance of $19,780,473.62. Money market, $1,122,149.44. Total amount of actual cash is $1,350. And the total amount of checks and drafts and treasurer's possession not exceeding 3 days is $176,798.70. And then the cash and treasurer's possession is $9,157.17. Petty cash, $2,725, excuse me. And for a total of $21,092,653.93.
Motion to approve treasurer's report. Second.
Moved by Ewing, seconded by Flanagan to file the treasurer's account with the auditor. Auditor's request, treasurer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries. Weed spraying agreement is up next.
Mr. Chairman, your annual agreement for weed spraying, the proposed amount is $32,193.73. Last year, the amount, just for comparison, was 33,546. You're looking for authorization to check, or have the chairman sign, please.
Second.
It's been moved by Flanagan, second by Comer. Otherwise, the rest of the contract is all the same as last year. I didn't see anything different. There's no further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay. That wrapped up. Mr. Brett, with abatements.
All right, this property was replatted years ago, and the old cabin that was on it, it went on the other family's parcel, and we didn't know it. I mean, we just didn't catch it. So they saw on their assessment notice there was a building value, and went, there isn't a building in here. So we're just taking that off for taxes due this year. 4,467, an old cabin, so.
Move to follow recommendation.
Second.
Moved by Flanagan, seconded by Tisdale to follow recommendations and approve the abatement. Any further questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay,
Thank you.
abatement is granted. The LEMPG quarterly report. Do you have anything to add to this, Paul?
Nope, it's the same as usual. Had our quarterly requirements. And Barb made out all the paperwork, and it's all included in there. Sent to the state for approval.
Motion to approve.
Say.
But moved by Ewing, seconded by Tisdale to approve the LEMPG quarterly report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Report is approved. Central City and St. Ange bonds.
Mr. Chairman, every year we're required to approve the bonds for these two entities, St. Ange in the amount of 50,000 and Central City in the amount of 150,000, and they are just on file in my office. I just need a motion to approve them.
Move to follow recommendation.
Second.
And moved by Tisdale, second by Comer to follow recommendations and approve the Central City and St. Ange bonds. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Good. Motion carries. Bonds are approved. Raffle requests.
Mr. Chairman, you have information in your binders, raffle request from the Spearfish Volunteer Firefighters Foundation. They're going to be having a monthly raffle culminating in, I think, in December with the final raffle. You can see that they're going to be raffling off, I think, gift cards, typically to local businesses. We'll be looking for authorization or I guess to not object to the raffle.
Motion to not object.
Second.
Moved by Ewing, second by Comer to not object to the raffle for the Spearfish Firefighter Foundation. It's the foundation's doing this. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we will not object.
Thank you.
That takes care of it for general business, doesn't it?
Yes.
Sheriff, do you have anything you'd like to inform us about?
Yes, sir. Good morning again. As of the end of March, which represents 25% of our year, our revenue stream from the new facility has brought in $519,931.89 approximately, which in short order at 25% of the year, we have brought in just over half of what we hope to bring in for an entire year. We presently sit as of this date at 587,451.74 approximately. So things are going very well. Of course, there's always the chance that things slow down a little bit, but I'm very pleased with where we are, and I would hope that you would be as well. Our staff is working very hard, and not the least of which is the young folks that come up from Nemo Job Corps. As you may recall, we started a program where those kids that are at a point, well, I say kids, but they're adults, but they get to a point in their training where they have to go out and get some experience in the real world. And some of them are coming up and working in our facility. They're
Just the culinary ones?
they're doing a good job. But what I would like to ask for you, or from you today, is your permission to feed those folks a meal.
Oh.
It's our meal in the jail, the very meals that they're helping to prepare cost the county about $2.30. Groceries are up, so it is a little expensive, but I certainly think Lawrence County can afford to feed these folks since we're not paying them to come up and work. So that's the request that I have for today.
And on a typical day, how many of them are there?
One.
Just one.
Yeah,
Okay.
take one at a time. So,
I'll make a motion that we approve the sheriff's request to feed these people.
I'll second.
thank you.
Okay, it's been moved by Ewing, second by Colmer to approve allowing the sheriff's department to feed the culinary students that are there helping. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
That's what I have. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Are
you.
you running about 80, 85 prisoners a day on an average, a typical range? Or?
We are, well, actually, we're right in that 70 to 80 right now. So I believe I said a couple meetings ago, we were going to slow it down a little bit and give people a breather. That's exactly where we're at. I do anticipate that our numbers will come up a little bit. It's kind of an ebb and flow.
Mhm.
We feel like we got our finger on the pulse and things are going.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Kind of ahead, Mr. Chairman, Corey is here and Val and Brianna from the Forest Service are here as well.
Yep, we could probably go on to Corey. He's
Good morning.
anxious to get into it.
I don't know. Well, first off, John Bay is gone to the NACE conference and he wanted to thank you guys for supporting him to go down there and become a better superintendent. So, anyway, first thing we have is the letting authorization for the Nemo bridges. This authorization allows the projects to be combined in a single bid for the replacements of both structures located on the Nemo Road. We're just requesting permission to advertise the bid opening date of May 12th, right here at 8:30 at the commission here. So we could start advertising to open the bids on that.
Motion to approve bid line.
Second.
Good, been moved by Flanagan, second by Ewing to authorize, is it the highway department that puts out the bid?
Advertise.
To advertise,
Advertise.
advertise, not authorize, advertise the bids for the Nemo project and set the date for May 12th at the next county commission meeting.
In, yeah, couple ways, right?
A couple, yeah.
2 and 1 there.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, we got that set for May 12th.
And then for the same 2 bridges, we're doing a diversion, and so we need a temporary work permit approved. The United States Forest Service here has a permit allowing the construction of the east portion of the Blum Lane diversion that crosses the United States Forest Service property. And I think we need a signature
For the
from the
sheriff.
chairman here to allow this.
So we had a private easement before. Is this part on the same road? or is
This,
it
yeah,
separate?
the end piece of it goes across the Forest Service. So we have the private, and then the last little section of this is for the Forest Service to allow us to build. We kind of got to build it up and make an easier bypass, I would say. The road comes right now to basically a 90, and we're just trying to make a nice curve so they can go right out of there, and the flow of traffic will be a lot nicer this way.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
So-
Valerie's here from the Forest Service.
Yeah.
Any questions as well?
Move to follow request.
Second.
Okay, been moved by Tisdale and seconded by Ewing to follow the request. So is the road going to be taken back out then when?
Yes.
When it's
This
all-
portion that goes across there will be removed when we're done.
Okay.
And then that, the rest of that's basically already there, and I know you guys talked about that already. About paving that or whatever we're done. but-
Oh, we have a motion to approve the, what's the word I'm looking for?
Chairman to sign the easement.
Easement is what I wasn't coming up with. And allow the chairman to sign. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, that's carried. Doing pretty good here so far, Corey. You're
Not too bad. I'll get you a copy of that before you go.
Great. And then Patrick will sign and then I will. Sign.
You guys will at least get to the, that's
Yes, please, the wet signature.
the wet.
What's next?
I think so.
Next.
Yeah, now we have the Tinton Road here and, you know, maybe Bruce can help me with this, but basically we got the two agreements we need to sign and, you know, it's doing 3.9 miles of the first section of the Tinton Road, which is just kind of up there past that Aspen Hills, kind of going that corner right to the top there is basically where that is. And this is the, you know, the Forest Service is providing $500,000 for the fundings for the improvements. And Lawrence County will be responsible for improving the improvements. So, you know, we've kind of already been ready to do this, I guess. And
So is this the final piece of the puzzle that we've been waiting to put together, or is there still more steps before we can actually start to work?
This is the final piece for the roadwork portion. So the reason that there's two agreements is one is just updating the master agreement with the general terms and conditions, and the second one is for the actual project, which is where the funds will be distributed through. So once that's all signed, we should be able to get you guys the money and start actual work on the ground, which is exciting.
Okay, Commissioner Tisdale.
Bruce, you're comfortable with all this? Yeah, John Bay and I have had meetings with Brianna and also Val has been there. So again, two agreements. One is to amend the overall project agreement, the terms and conditions, minor adjustment, I think, to the reporting requirements.
That was the only thing that really is gonna affect the project, is it went from an annual report to a quarterly, but this project should take less than a month, so it's still just gonna be one progress report.
The other one is for the funding amount of the $500,000 and just I'll cover it. I don't know if Corey said it exactly, but as Brianna said, John Bay estimates about 14 days for the road work. There's some trees that need to be cut beforehand, so that will add an extra few days, right? John, I think, is going to try to prioritize this as early in the season as possible to get it done. So it should go fairly quickly by all accounts. So we'd be looking for, yes, the chairman's authorization to sign these two agreements.
Move to approve.
it's been a long time.
And then
Moved by Tisdale, seconded. I think we'll give that to Coleman also. To approve, authorize the chairman to sign the agreement. Because it was a tie.
Oh, you gave it to Homer?
I think there'll be a lot of people happy about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
then
yours-
there's one puzzle piece left, which would be the easement. Which, and you've already reviewed that for the easement.
Yeah, I think it's okay, yeah, for easement, and that's included, I think, in the project cost as well. It's like $35,000 to do the review work or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's about 3.9 miles that I think is gonna be improved, so everyone's kind of on the same page, just short of 4
That
miles.
is correct.
And I think so, a lot of the cost the county's match, about Eric is signing is it 20 or 25%? Is that what it is, the county, we had to do a match? I think, but, so most of it is in-kind match, use of equipment, it's our labor. Obviously, the fuel costs and the gravel are kind of the unknown, so I think that's why John wants to get started as soon as possible. But they have a very good idea of exactly how much material will be needed and those kinds of things. So we think that it'll come in under budget or according to what his figures are, if that makes sense to everybody.
And we will probably start this, you know, quickly if we can get it done.
So we're early enough in the year to get it done.
Yeah, you know, we have a lot of projects, but we'll definitely schedule this into it if we get it all through.
For the big rush.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think we vote on this. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay. Finally, pound a nail in that coffin.
Yeah. And then finally, we have the Rough Rock Falls Agreement. We are just submitting the fully executive agreement with the South Dakota Game Fish and Parks. And this is just to reimburse Lawrence County for the road surface treatment for 1 mile of the Rough Rock Falls Road. And reimbursement is not to exceed $10,000. So that's kind of what we've been doing the last few years. So that goes up past those parking lots. So we go in there and grade it up, shape it up, and give it the shot of Meg. And they've been reimbursing us, you know, for, I don't know, a couple of years.
Several years. Didn't we do an amendment on this last year? Because there was extra work involved.
Oh yeah, last year we did a little extra. Maybe that was 2 years ago. We did some graveling on it too. So now, it's got a pretty nice lift of gravel on it and just maintaining it basically now, so.
Okay.
So that's nice to get reimbursed for that. Other than that, I guess the invoices are on the back there. I was gonna mention all of our road graders are here now. Last one yesterday is finally here, so. Been pretty nice.
Crystal will get me the invoice for that. I didn't get that one. I don't think, or if I did, I missed it. Can you double check?
Yeah, it just came in yesterday, so it's probably not quite processed yet.
I add it to insurance. You take off the old one. You want to forget.
That looked like you had the crew out doing some ag water now.
No, just water.
It's just water.
It just hardly hate the grade anymore without water because it just all the parts so fast. So yeah, we got multiple dies of spearfish now, and we'll just work our way up to the hills. Once it thaws out a little more up here, still kind of, the hills are always pumping a little weird up here still. But yeah, no, starting to touch up the roads,
You're running grader down Spearfish Main Street.
The motion.
A lot of complaining there. Dust control first, it needs a
Yeah.
mag job.
Need the mag.
But other than that, I don't know, is there anything else you guys would like from me? I mean,
No, we'll let you.
nice and easy.
John
It's good to see you.
Everything good. Yeah, good to see you guys.
We didn't need a motion on the agreement, did we, for Rough Rock Falls? Or did we?
I don't think so.
we-
That's just,
already-
you already did it.
yeah.
It's already done.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
But you know what was.
So,
All right.
Thanks, Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Excited to
Yeah,
do that.
we'll wait till 8:25 here, so we'll take a short break till 8:25 for the
Yeah.
public hearings.
Oh, I don't- This is actually, it's not that bad road. It just needs a new surface. on it.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
Oh, yeah.
The mag it right away.
Yeah, we'll make it. We'll put the new gravel on and right away.
That's gonna be nice. That'll make some happy people.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Like overnight.
And that first is the worst, that first section. That was bad. Anyway, appreciate it.
Thank you, Corey.
See you, Corey.
Commissioner Jennings, are you on a break?
We are till 8:25.
On behalf of the Aspen Hills Road District, thank you. That's big for us.
Yep, sorry. Glad we finally got it worked through.
Yes, sir, thank you.
I just sent a text to the office. We get a lot of questions.
What are we on break till?
All right, public hearing at 8:25.
2 minutes.
If you pay attention, you would know that.
Eric,
Business.
I could leave.
Might go fast. Just give me hell today.
I'm not gonna go there.
Might as well be light right now. It's gonna be a long day.
It's not gonna be a long day.
Isn't it?
That a girl. Of course, you're leaving us halfway through.
I'll still be here. I'll still be here. I'll just be right there. Working on the
You're just going
minutes.
out.
I'll have them emailed out to you hopefully before you leave.
And you'll be listening to.
Yes, I will. I'm not abandoning. Can't even talk.
Much deserved time away. This is the wedding.
Gets married on Friday.
Fantastic.
They got there yesterday, so they know how much that I'm petrified to travel. So when they got to the airport, they like, did a video for me and her mom. Like, this is what you do when you get off the plane. You go down this hallway, and then when you get here, you go to the passport thing, and then when you go here, you look for your flight. Oh,
This is where you get arrested.
it was hilarious. I was like, oh my gosh, you didn't know us both so well.
I assume they pointed at a bar.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be a little challenging.
Yeah, it was funny though. And you know, Randy, he's like, everything's fine.
Yeah, he's probably not worried.
All right, we'll come back to order. It's 8:25, and this is the time and place for a public hearing on resolution 2026-14 for vacating a section line.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Mhm.
I have the exhibit up on the screen as you described. It is a request to vacate several portions of section line. I think the parcel in question is about 135 acres. You'll also see at 9 o'clock today, it's on your agenda for some plating as well. And Valerie's here too, so she's probably familiar with it, but I think it's generally surrounded by Forest Service on all sides, except for that portion maybe closer to Highway 85. I can't see whether there's any access issues with any of the adjacent landowners. And I guess I would defer to Valerie for any comments from the Forest Service.
No, there's the reciprocal easement, that has an access point from Sunny Meadows. But that parcel itself also touches Highway 85. And then technically a tiny corner of one, is it 518?
Can't remember.
Touches 10 up on the
Yeah,
top.
yeah. I think this is 85 actually going through the corner of the property.
It is.
Yes.
The Tinton was on the northwest corner, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Up there.
Yeah.
that goes up,
Clear from the
Way over in that corner.
So it is a public hearing, Mr. Chairman. Haven't heard any comments adverse to this whatsoever.
yeah. Is there any, we'll open it up to the public if they want to comment on that. If there's anybody in the audience or online that would like to weigh in on the section line vacation. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and offer it up to the commissioners for questions or decisions. We'll just contemplate for a while too. Motion, okay, been moved to approve the vacation of the section line. Is there a second on that?
Second.
One more time for a second.
Yeah, you want to give that over?
Seconded by Ewing. If there's no further questions, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, section line is vacated.
Thank you.
No.
I'm right along here, so we're way ahead.
That's good.
Did Bruce go up to get Amber?
I-
We're gonna take a little break here until we get the next crew in line.
I can come down right now if you guys need me to.
That'd be great.
Yeah, why don't you come on down and get set up, Amber?
Okay.
Good, how are you?
It's the border candidate back there. Yeah, he's there for a while. Yeah, very little. Followed the sheriff out. Was good on the Tit Road, that road. You can't get back. Yeah, oh, jeez, I've been on that.
We
farm.
get more.
About threw me off a couple times.
I will sell some property up in Aspen Hills. People begging for that. Oh, what are you doing?
Well, I was gonna turn the mic off, but I don't know how. I didn't want to find a different page on it.
You?
Anyway.
It's probably
Okay, we'll go back to order. Start up with the planning and zoning items. Amber, what do you have for us
We
today?
have a final plat for Bighorn LNR Ranch LLC, tracks 1 through 3. This is considered a boundary plat because it was 3 HESs basically, and they're platting them all into 3 bigger lots to move the lot lines. So that's what they're doing here. There's no structures or anything out here. I think, is John? No, John Frederickson said he was gonna be here, I thought, so,
Maybe show it to 9.
yeah, he might, I don't know, I don't really have anything, he just was gonna be here in case there was any concerns with the Forest Service letters that were in here with comments. The original letter came from the Forest Service, we shared it with, the landowners, and then John Frederickson is their acting attorney. And then, there was a new comment made, and it sounds like they've kind of got it figured out. For this point, I don't think it really matters because they're not asking for subdivision, they're just doing a boundary plat. So it might come up and they know that it has some access issues that they'll have to work through with the Forest Service.
Amber, or Valerie or Brianna, do you have anything to add that you'd like to comment on that?
I concur, I think with the 3 tracks, there's
Not a
really
problem
nothing.
right now, it's
No.
just, there might be.
There
some
may be a
issues.
few things we'll need to address with the subdivision. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Move that is exempt.
Second. And moved by Tisdale, seconded by Flanagan to make it exempt. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? It is exempt.
The next one is a preliminary.
Move to approve the final plat.
I have a process here that we need to
I got it.
follow.
Second. Thank
Moved by
you.
Tisdale,
Yeah.
seconded by Comer to, is that a final?
Yes.
To do the final plat approval. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, we approve the final.
All
How are you
right,
making
so
this?
preliminary and final is the next one, Golden Reward. If you remember, they came in and talked to you guys about this. It's been a couple months ago now. And basically what they're trying to do is be able to do a transfer of the pond area to Terry Peak. But in order to do that, because it sat in the middle of a bunch of mineral survey loads, the only way to do it was to plat it. Normally would require a remainder. So they would have like 2 tracks, tract 1 and tract 2, showing all of the remainders. But you guys allowed them to go ahead and just plat this, leave remainders. Talking to the EQ office, as long as they had a table on there showing exactly what was left over out of each load, they were okay with it in this scenario because Golden Reward still keeps ownership of a lot of the property out there. So it just kind of helped clean it up, but they needed that acreage to be able to know who was gonna pay taxes on what part of the mineral survey load. So I did have EQ look at it. They were okay with how it is on the plat. It gives them what they need in order to break it out so that each entity can get taxed differently. And then the transfer part, it'll be for transfer purposes only. So the PMP tract will get transferred from Golden Reward to Terry Peak. And they had to go through the process with the state to allow that to happen out of their boundary. And it sounds like everything went fine.
Everybody's happy now.
Everybody's happy now.
So should this also be an exempt plat for the fire plan?
Yeah, we could do it if
Motion
you
make
wanted
exempt
to.
from the fire plan.
Second.
And moved by Flanagan, seconded by Tisdale to make it exempt. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? It is exempt.
Approve the preliminary and the final.
Second.
And moved by Flanagan, seconded by Ewing to approve the preliminary and final of 2026-18. Further questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, preliminary and final is approved.
Done.
We also, I think you saw the weed report there from Ryan Palmer and David Heck, so they're continuing to be proactive and with landowners on these things. Well, we'll probably have to take a little break until we get the next one up. We're gonna do Paul, do you want to go? Sure. We could do the burning ban ordinance.
It's the first reading, so.
It's a-
I can-
Oh, really? That's a
Public
time
hearing.
thing too? It's a public hearing. All right.
Is that
All right,
okay?
Paul.
I guess I'd have to ask Bruce, but with it being a first reading,
With the first reading, usually that, because it's
Sit
an
down,
ordinance.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Do you want to sign?
Yeah, we're gonna take a little break from shit.
Mute it.
All right, we'll come back to order. We are up with a first reading of ordinance 2025-1 regulating open burning. Go ahead, Mr. Emergency Management Director.
Well, after speaking to firefighters, Spearfish Fire Department and Whitewood Fire Department pertaining to the area north of I-90, which is not in that Black Hills Fire Protection District, the county ordinance spells out when people in that area can burn. And brought to my attention that there's several things that might be added that could help the firefighters. The first one in section 3 regulations, open fire, we've inserted that it starts out, no person shall set an open fire, and we've inserted or maintain an open fire set previously. That's to cover when they set a fire, meeting the regulations of not high or above, it's minor or low, that they not do that the next day if it goes to high or above.
So look at the weather forecast.
Yeah, and you go by the current fire danger index.
Mhm.
And that's available online. It's on the county website. It's under emergency management, current fire danger. And everybody can look that up. If they have any questions, they don't have internet, they can call us every day.
Mhm.
Every morning, we print that off and put it by the door. The second thing is we've added burning safeguards in section D. And that is prior to commencing an open burn, the person planning an open burn must contact the Lawrence County Dispatch to provide the burn date and the location. Because a lot of times we'll get a smoke report and we don't know who it is, where it's at. So that would alleviate that. Because if somebody calls it in and they say, yeah, so-and-so's burning out there, that's fine. And the third thing, and number 2, all burns must be attended. And when left unattended, fully extinguished and cold to the touch. So that's very important because we've had several this spring already where they've started burn piles and drove away and left them. The wind comes up and we got a prairie fire. So as you all know, this year looks like it's going to be a dry year, starting out that way anyway. Last year it started out the same way and we did a amendment to that one to put a penalty in there. And that has, we have not used that to date, but just the threat of it being there, I think.
To be through.
Also, I'll remind you that the last year when I came in, it was really dry. And the rest of the summer was really green. So hopefully it'll follow this year. So those are the 3 things for the first reading. Hopefully we can get that done and we can address the concerns of the firefighters and help them out, help our dispatch as well.
Mr. Chairman? Second reading then is set for your next meeting, April 28th, 2026. I don't have a specific time yet. That's subject to change, but it'll probably be around 9 o'clock.
Question?
No, thanks for doing it.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, just keep in touch with our firefighters. They're the ones that out there have to do it every day and
Yep.
it's working.
Been a busy spring for a lot of them so
Yeah.
far.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Amber's here.
The other Amber.
Mrs. Ritchie.
How are you?
Gentlemen, Miss Brenda, thank you. I first want to say thank you to everyone but Mr. Comer here because he wasn't on the board. Thank you. I cannot say thank you enough from our staff, from our clients. We love our new space. We have been there about a year now and it has just, it's changed our entire outlook, environment, everything. We use the heck out of every single space we have in there and we are grateful. So we're also grateful nobody else seemed to want the new space. But so I didn't have to fight anybody for it, but it is just, it's so great. Our being able to meet with our clients and not have really victims or the state or other people just kind of wandering around downstairs and watching them and just being able to send them right down from court to say, go downstairs, schedule your appointment. Because you wouldn't believe how many people would get lost from there to down here. I mean, they just wouldn't show up down here. Whereas 90% of the time, maybe 95% of the time, we tell them, go downstairs to the office and schedule your next appointment. They do it. It's just been a breath of fresh air. So thank you. In terms of, I don't have a lot of other amazing information for you other than we have obviously been in operation again for another full year with full staff. I think that has made a significant difference. I hope to continue to make a significant difference in the outside court-appointed attorneys' fees that are put up by outside counsel. Just to give you an idea, last year we handled, so they would have been from maybe 2024 and 2025, 867 cases. That's up about 60 from 2024 numbers when I reported. So that's great. We had serviced 637 clients of those 867 cases. So a lot of those clients have multiple cases, unfortunately. Just to give you an idea, from 2020, that's up 140 cases. So it's quite a few in just 5 years. We billed 225,000, just over 225,000. That's an increase of just under 19,000 from 2024. Outside counsel last year billed 285,000. So still over what we bill for a lot less cases. That was for 212 cases and ours were for 623 cases. I mean, it's still a significant difference, but that's down 70,000 from the year before. So, you know, we can keep making some difference hopefully on that. Our average cost as opposed to court appointed outside counsel, our average cost per case is $362 per client, whereas outside counsel is $1,345 still. And it's just, so we keep plugging away. I did notice that I think it was Brown County now has a brand new public defender's office that they're starting. Don't worry, I'm not leaving. I'm not going to Brown County. There, it's a great county, but I'm here. So they were advertising for attorneys for Brown County. So that will be 4 public defenders' offices in the state, which is nice. For last year, new appointments, we had a total of 231 felony cases, misdemeanor cases, a total of 342. We had about the same number of juvenile cases, 32. And we had 1 appeal that we ended up doing. We also ended up having the, what is it? The statewide Office of Indigent Legal Services took one of our child abuse and neglect appeal cases finally. So we actually had 2 total appeals, but they took 1. And then I was appointed on a guardianship case by Judge Strawn, which is technically, that's allowed by statute. It was a new one for me, and it was a contested one. We finally got it resolved, but it was for an individual who is in his 50s, and both of his parents had passed away, and his sister was being his guardian, and that was not going well for anybody, I don't think. And eventually we were able to get that one wrapped up. But I was really grateful to be able to actually help him in the end. So I don't think that will be something that we're taking a lot of. That's the first one really that we've had since I've been in the office for going on 14 years now, but it is something different anyway. So far, the state's attorney has opened about 284 criminal cases this year. We've been assigned to 155 of those. Of course, a lot of those haven't even made initial appearances yet, so I anticipate that number will be on the increase. And we have a total right now of 245 cases that we're handling for 187 clients. In the past, I've talked a little bit about the financials. We were, again, under budget by about 18,000, which has been pretty consistent. Your wife might be upset to hear, sir, that we have started using quite a bit Google Translate now. And I did purchase myself, just to see how they work, the earbuds. And so I have a client up at the jail that I'm actually going to take the earbuds. I'm going to give him one. I'm going to have one. We're going to see how it works.
Hopefully it works
next
well.
week. I hope so.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but it does save on having to go through the court system where we were paying for that. Spanish still seems, Spanish is still our #1 translation. And Mr. Brown and I have enough knowledge that we can get through it. Like if somebody comes to the window, we're okay. If we're talking court stuff, we still struggle quite a bit. And I think Google Translate does help. It's still not perfect and certainly not great if we had to take a case to trial, but in terms of just general communication, we seem to be getting along pretty good, and I'm hopeful that the earbuds will help even more.
Great.
Yeah, I used Google Translate. I was in Asia a few weeks ago and used Google Translate a lot, but it doesn't do well with Mandarin or Cantonese still. So we still have some issues, and if we have another one of those types of cases come up, we'll still have to use the court system translator or get another translator in. But for Spanish, it does seem to do what we need to do it for the most part. We're still working away with teen court. That's going very well. Mr. Brown, myself, and then a private attorney who was the legal lost it. Can't even remember the name. That's what happens when we get old. He was working with the court system initially, and now he's out in private practice on his own. He's helping as a judge as well. So the 3 of us are covering all of the teen court sessions. They haven't had to have anybody else come in, which has been great for them. the Office of Indigent Legal Services just sent me an email. They are looking for some feedback on administrative rules, apparently, concerning eligibility standards and minimum qualifications for attorneys providing indigent services for the higher class felonies, class A, B, and C, which are punishable by either life or up to life, and then 1, 2, and 3 felony levels, so punishable by 50 years down to 15 years. I don't know how that's going to end up working. If they're going to be providing training to everyone, or if they're just going to be the monitor of those types of regulations and making sure that people who are representing those individuals are qualified to do so. Because oftentimes we see brand new attorneys getting appointed to those types of cases in other areas, certainly not as much here, but who are not, shouldn't necessarily be representing those types of cases yet. They just don't have the experience. I think having some eligibility criteria would be beneficial. So I am going to be responding to that. They did, as I indicated, take one appeal case, so they are taking child abuse neglect from everybody now. We did ask that they take a criminal appeal that there was a conflict on for us. And so I reached out to them to see what options there would be. They aren't taking any criminal appeals or doing any criminal work. They just don't have the ability to do so. They're pretty limited in their staffing as well. So that isn't on the horizon yet that I'm aware of. Hopefully it will be. Kind of like the AGs do some of the criminal stuff for the state's attorneys. It'd be nice to have the ability, especially when we have a conflict, to not have to farm that out to a court-appointed attorney outside. In terms of training, we haven't done any national trainings in the last couple of years. I've been very conscientious trying to make sure that we do some online trainings when it's available that are free to us. I am probably going to come back sometime this summer. I've been looking at the trainings that are available at the end of the year to see about sending Ms. Schmidt to a training again. It is budgeted, but I'll come back and chat with you guys about that sometime this summer once we figure out which one she would like to go to and what would be most beneficial for the office. Other than that, I don't have anything else, I don't think, unless there are any questions from you all. No?
So just on an average, how many cases do each of your staff cover?
So it's interesting. I will say that if I told you the numbers, it would probably be somewhere of that 245 or so that we have right now. My 245, I'm sorry for that, for 187 clients. I would say Mr. Brown has the largest number because they're the misdemeanors. So I would say he's probably got somewhere around 100 to 150 at any given time. They're the misdemeanors. Ms. Schmidt and I have taken back juveniles because his caseload was getting considerably larger. Just the misdemeanors were getting charged and charged. And so I would say then we basically split that remaining between Ms. Schmidt and I. Our caseloads are usually pretty comparable. I think if I looked at, so last year, I think Shad had around a total appointments of 340, 350, somewhere in there, that were new appointments to him. And I think Ms. Schmidt and I probably split the rest of new appointments, probably 120 new appointments each year, roughly. I think I've got around 30, 35 right now, and she probably has, I run caseloads usually twice a month. I think she's got 40 or 45 right now, probably. So ours are much lower, but ours are dealing with the felonies.
More complicated
Yeah,
cases. Yeah.
definitely more complicated cases. Doesn't mean that our clients are any less complicated or more complicated though. Some of his are definitely, he's got some challenges as well, but they're just more complicated cases for sure. So I would say on the high end, when we get 50 or 60 felony files, we're close to drowning. I mean, that's a significant number. And usually between 120, 150 misdemeanors at a time is pretty easy to handle, believe it or not. So yeah, it seems crazy, but it's probably pretty true. So we're in that 35 to 40, 45 range. We're pretty solid in terms of what we can handle. So we try and stay in that area. So
Thank you.
thank you and thank you and thank you
Thank you
and
for what
thank
you
you. We so appreciate the location.
Beachfront property is way better than
It's-
dungeons.
Beachfront property is amazing. So yes, thank you, Tim. Nice to see you. I didn't know you were on the board now. I guess I wasn't reading my minutes very closely.
Thank you, Amber.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Bernard.
Brett is here at 10:15, although the natural resources is earlier on the agenda. Maybe you want to wait. I don't know if Bill Colbert is planning on coming today. So if you would defer to Brett.
Yeah, I prefer to rep.
Okay.
So I have a pretty short state of the equalization office report. But also I made this up, and if you need any other information, I can get that for you. I just didn't know exactly what you might want to hear besides. So I put, the number of parcels that we, from 2025 to 26, we've gone up a little bit. We reappraised city lead last year, probably about 80% of it. We're gonna finish it out this year. We had 919 building permits, two more than the year before. The overall assessment went up about 5%. Preliminary growth is up quite a bit, but that's because of all the TIFs that dissolved. So honestly, our growth went down if it wouldn't have been for the TIFs. And that's probably a lot because of the legislation that was approved the year before, when we can only do, for owner occupied properties, we can, if the growth isn't more than 40% of the value, we can't add it as growth. So if they add a deck, we used to be able to add that as growth, we can't anymore. Sometimes even, if the land's fairly high, if they could add a garage, it might not be 40%. So the growth was quite a bit this year, but it was, 2 TIFs for dissolved in Spearfish and 2 in Deadwood, and they're pretty large. So that was a lot. And then also that legislation, if we had increased 3%, over 3% for owner occupied overall, we would have had to have a factor on to bring them down a little bit, but we only went up 2.2% for owner occupied. And we had 625 good sales at this point. Our ratio's at 86.96, above 85. So did a little better this year than the year before. We seem to be getting a little closer. So that's really all I have. But yeah, if you have any other information you want me to put in this, I will put it in. You think of anything, or?
How do you define a good sale?
So it's got to be market sale. So it has to be on for a certain amount of time. It's got to be available.
Arm's length.
What?
Arm's length transaction.
Arm's length transaction. So for example, if it's sold between families, we can't, that's not a good sale. Family members, or of course, if there wasn't a sale price, it's not a good. Yeah. So yeah, it has to meet those arm's length standards. So.
And then the 5% growth rate for valuation that we can't claim. Does that only affect our budget? Because the homeowners, the landowners are still getting the valuation of the new growth charged to them, correct? How does
So
that
the
work?
5% increase is just assessment value.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's right. I should have put how much the growth was of that. So yeah, the growth. Help me out, Brenda. So you could do 3% of growth.
That's the max.
That's the max. And That's a good question. That would be something I would put on here. How much our growth is of the total. I don't know that off the top of my head.
Right. So is that mainly affecting the county or is that affecting the landowner? The homeowner?
The 5% increase?
Yes.
Well, that'll be, yeah, affect the homeowner.
It does affect the homeowner.
But I mean, if the levy goes down a little bit, and actually our factor is gonna be better for this, so we're gonna tax less value, right? Because we're getting closer to 100%. So that actually, the taxable value will go down a little bit. So it depends on what happens to the levies. It might actually not affect them too much.
Okay.
So I think we're at 5.3.
I mean, overall, of course, individual homeowners went up more and some went down less. Some values actually went down this year in some places. Deadwood overall went down value wise. They were pretty close to market. Leadstone went up a bit because they're still trying to catch them up. I see the market. So it depended on where you were in the county. Yep.
Yep.
So,
Any other questions for Beth? Good.
okay.
See you
All right.
again later. So,
Yeah.
Mitch, if you're our only guest star here today.
John Frederickson is also on the natural resources. Committee.
I just wanted to say thank you. You guys have taught me so much over almost 40 years. First time I've ever believed that silence is golden. I didn't even have to show up, so thanks.
We talked about you.
Yeah, I know, I'm sure of that.
And we debated.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Mitch Iverson here, who's chair of the Natural Resource Committee. Talk about some progress we're making with the Forest Service and our cooperative agency.
Yeah, so I'd like to say, first of all, generally pretty good news, I think. The two items I wanted to talk to you today about was helping the Forest Service share information about projects in Lawrence County. And I'll get into that in a minute. And then the second item is that memorandum of understanding that we've been working on for, 2.5 years, trying to get that approved. I got some updates on that. So I don't think anything, I had hoped to have an MOU that you could approve, but it's not quite there, but you saw the draft. First of all, I'll start in with, there's a new district ranger, Patrick Champa, on the Northern Hills out of Spearfish. And that's been a very refreshing change. Good guy to work for. I know him a little bit before he took this office, and that's been really good. So we've got this benchmark project, which is down by, experimental forest, Robay Lake kind of area there. It's a huge project, I think 40,000 acres total. And it's forestry, logging, a lot of fuel work, thinning. There's a fair number of landowners in there. And so the Forest Service, I can't remember the exact breakdown in between private land and Forest Service, but significant amount of private land. The Forest Service at this time has got a big dilemma with how they share information. And they have asked us to help a little bit if we could. The deal is they can't, first of all, they're so limited in staff. And secondly, from above, they're not able to share information on Facebook unless it meets very specific criteria. So with that said, they're working with the state of South Dakota on the landowners and notifying them. And it's important for the landowners to know about these projects in advance because, first of all, it's right next door. Secondly, there is opportunities for, if a landowner wants to do some thinning work, they can do a joint project, and there's cost share opportunities for the landowners. So while the contractors are in there, landowner wants to entertain the idea of them working on their property, and it's kind of a win-win. So with that, what District Ranger Champa has asked the county, and if we could if he could send us a project notification and a map, and if the county could post it on our Facebook. And so that's the ask there. It sounds like a kind of a weird deal, but they would normally, Forest Service would normally just post it on their Facebook site. And that's a really good way to get people, notified. And they can't do it, and this seems a little strange in some ways, but they've approved it up the line with the forest supervisor and everything. So that would be the ask, is we would just take information that's a simple project notification, and here's the map, and here's who to call at the Forest Service, and we're just would post that on Facebook, and then Forest Service would share it. So they can do that. That's legal. So that's the ask. And I know it sounds, it's a head scratcher why they can't do what they can't do. But what's happening these days is there's a lot of control over information, and the Forest Service has got this big reorganization going on, and there's some folks from above that are saying, don't do this, don't do that, and their hands are really tied. So that's the ask there.
They can share the information, but they just can't initiate the post.
Right. Yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
So is it relative just to these projects in Lawrence County?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and there may be other ones. So I think while we're talking about it, I'd like to, if there's projects in Lawrence County, and it's just a simple notification and a map with, and I don't know that we need to open it up for comments or anything. I think you can post stuff on Facebook without comments, just so people don't have to comment. If you don't want to get into that negative whole Facebook thing, it could just be a simple post.
You're just talking about these timber management projects?
Yes. Fuel reduction.
Fuel reduction, improvements, thinning,
Yeah.
making the forest healthier.
Yeah. That's the main drive. And there's, like I said, there is a lot of cost share potential for some landowners that might be interested.
Some landowners might want to utilize the same contractors on their private land as
Right.
next
Yeah,
door to
yeah.
the public, and if they know that they're gonna be there, then they can get them lined up. Hopefully that would do some good
Benefits.
management and reduce some fire danger.
Yeah.
I can't see where that'd be a problem.
No, I don't think so. I can help coordinate with Greg to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
If
Sounds good.
Yeah, we can put it on our homepage, Facebook, we have Twitter, we can put them on all of them as far as I know.
I think the most important would probably be if there's questions, contact
Yes, and they
the
said they
Northern
were,
Hills
yep.
Forest Service. That would be probably the most
They
important
said they
part.
field the questions.
yes, they did,
Okay.
and then provide the contact, and so we wouldn't be burdened with any of that. Like I said, we can post it without comments, so you don't start getting, what happens on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Formalize this?
I don't think so. We were gonna proceed with a better idea to make sure that you guys were all aware of it, just in case you had questions as well. So I'll just proceed accordingly.
I do want to clarify that normally this go through the conservation district. And they used to post stuff on Facebook, but they don't anymore. So that's why I'm asking the county. This is,
It wouldn't
I
hurt.
think it's a great opportunity.
And I assume we have a policy of what can be put on Facebook for the county.
We don't have I don't know that we have a policy on that. I don't know it. I have to visit with Greg. We do link to other sites though from our homepage as well. So basically, in my mind, it's not much different than that. It isn't that, but it's not much different, right? It's a government agency, highly regulated, so I don't really see an issue. If I may, Mr. Chairman, Mitch, do you know what the timeline of this is? Is this gonna be something to do sooner than later, or?
yeah, I think they're looking at, they'd like to get something done in April at the very least.
I will be the go-between to get started, and I think I don't see a problem.
Yeah, we're just information sharing is all it is.
And the Natural Resource Committee, you know, it's not the intent to get involved in, on Facebook, a debate about projects. It's just information. So that's that. On the memorandum of understanding, it's been quite a journey with that. We've attempted to renew our MOU that we had with the Forest Service, and they've refused, or at one point they were willing to renew it, but put such restrictive conditions that it would basically undermine the county in any way, shape, or form. We take away the county's right to object, and that wasn't workable. Invoked a bunch of other regulations that didn't even apply. So it won't go into that, but with Pat, District Ranger Champa has sat down and worked up a draft MOU, which I think is very reasonable. It doesn't take away all those rights. It's just your normal Forest Service MOU with counties. I've looked at quite a few of them, and this is pretty much a standard one. At this point, it's still draft. He does have to get final approval from the Forest Supervisor, but District Ranger Champa has talked over the phone and went over this with the Forest Supervisor, and he seems okay with it. So this would be the entire northern Black Hills, not the entire forest, which the county had before. And it's preferable to have the entire forest under this MOU, but I think at this point we should take what we can get.
Yeah.
And hopefully there won't be, I hope to come back here with a MOU that you can approve, you know, maybe in the next month or so. And it's important to have this MOU for several reasons. It allows government to government sharing of information, and that's pre-decisional information, things of that nature. So it also requires the Forest Service to notify us of projects early. So and that's been a reoccurring problem. We find out about a project after they've been working on it for a year and a half or longer. So I think I see a changing relationship with at least the Northern Hills with this and the new District Ranger. And so, you know, if you get a chance, look this over. The only thing I think that maybe the county should look at is language that makes it clear the county cannot disclose everything to the Forest Service. You know, the county, I think there should be a clause in there that just says the county is not obligated to disclose any and all information. So there's a clause in there that says the Forest Service doesn't have to do that. And there could be certain information personally identifiable. That's my only recommendation. And I don't know how you want to proceed with that, but I think if something just mirrored what the Forest Service says, I think that would be fine. I do want to point out the MOU is non-binding. It's not, and I'm sure you all know this, but it doesn't allow transfer of funds. It is not like a contract or anything. It's a understanding of how we're going to work with each other. It seems kind of like a simple thing, but it's been quite a process. And like I said, there's been some real reluctance down in Custer with the Forest Supervisor of getting into this type of agreement, which is unfortunate. But I think with various things that Eric and I talked to the chief of the Forest Service a couple weeks ago, and there's been some other pressure. I think the Forest Service supervisor is seeing that this is a good thing. One other thing that I just want to point out, the Forest Service federal agencies, National Environmental Policy Act regulations changed. And they don't have to notify, they're not required to notify anybody about projects until a lot later in the process. And with that change, that makes this MOU a lot more important. So I guess that's my sales pitch for it. So like I said, I don't think there needs to be a decision made. This is just draft, and I hope to come back with you with the final. And I think we can look forward to a lot of, it's already improved with District Ranger Tampa. The amount of contact, I feel, don't you, Eric?
I do. He's been very willing and really wants to get us involved.
Good.
And work with us as a partner.
And that's part of the reason for that whole Facebook thing. He wants the private landowners to know what's going on and be involved if possible.
Yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
So is it true, so the agreement is for projects originating in the Northern Hills District, and so there could be a project that is in Lawrence County but originates in another district that we wouldn't have cooperating agency status on if it's originating in another district, is that right?
If it goes into Lawrence County.
Right, because that was part of the discussion. So you can have a project that's originating in Lawrence County that goes into Pennington County, but we would have cooperating agency status because it originated in Lawrence County, so, in our district. But if there's a project that originates, what is it? Is it the Mystic District that's south of us?
Yes.
District. So if it originates out of there, but the boundary goes into Lawrence County, even to any extent, we don't have cooperating agency status on that because it originates in the Mystic District. Is that right?
Yes.
Just so everybody's clear.
They're the Forest Service, and this is not Patrick Champa, this is Forest Supervisor, is very focused on jurisdiction, and if it's outside of the county, that's where his concern is. The regulations are written for cooperating status is special expertise or jurisdiction. And that's why Lawrence County previously had an MOU for the entire forest, because we had foresters, we had people that had the expertise. But district, and when you read this, Patrick Champa is not limited the county on projects. So if there's a Meade County project in the Northern Hills District and it crosses the line, in that case, since it's on the Northern Hills, it would still be under this MOU.
If it originates here?
If it originates in the Northern Hills.
Yeah.
So what is it, a project boundary determination? So they've identified boundary for a project, and if it falls within Meade County and Lawrence County, then it fall under this program?
Yes.
So it's a boundary of the project.
Yes, but a lot of projects go over the county lines. That's the problem. And so it creates complications when you share information.
So for example, if it's a Mystic District project, you could have a number of acres in Lawrence County, but I don't think we would have cooperating agency status on that because it originated in the Mystic District. And there is no like threshold of the number of acres affected in Lawrence County or in our district. We would have to have a separate agreement or a different agreement with the Mystic District, I think, in order to be a cooperator there. Is that probably true?
And that's correct. And we could still, aside from this MOU, ask for cooperating agency status on an individual project. The trouble with that is you don't always get your information in time, and with the way the Forest Service is doing their NEPA process, that can create some problems.
Right. Mr. Chairman, Mitch, I saw in the agreement that they're looking for a couple pieces of information. They're looking for an administrative contact and kind of what I would call a primary contact. Is that something that you want to walk away with here today to be able to let them know who to fill in those blanks?
That would be a good thing to address today if we can.
Mr. Chairman, actually, it's the cooperator program contact and then the cooperator administrative contact. I think in the past, just for discussion purposes, I think I've been listed as the administrative contact. I don't have to be, but I think I have been. Then it comes down to who you want, maybe as sort of your primary liaison, so that's gonna be talking me to the ranger, to Patrick.
You and the chairman.
And maybe it's more appropriate for Mitch to be the administrative contact. I don't know if he has any thoughts on that. I don't know.
I think it should be, I don't have any feelings either way, Eric or me. How do you feel, Eric?
I think that you'd probably be a better person for this just because of your knowledge and you're far more focused on it.
Okay.
At this point, so I think that you can
You
probably
okay with
answer
that?
questions. And
Yeah.
be
Okay.
on
You
top of
agree.
things.
Mitch, will you share that with him then?
Yes, I will.
And I'm not sure exactly what paragraph you're looking at about the sharing of information. Maybe we can talk about that offline. My inclination would be just to make it mutual. We've done that with the Forest Service before. For this particular paragraph, we just say, right, it's the same language, take out Forest Service, put in county.
That door swings both ways.
Yeah. So if we have permission, we can work on that and come back with a final draft. Fair enough?
Yep, I have a couple of questions on it too.
Yeah, I don't want to obligate the county in any way that it's uncomfortable.
Yep. And I think the way it's written is so loose that you can participate in any way you want up to the amount you can. So I don't think they can obligate us to share things. I'm not really concerned about it, but if you have a concern, we can put that extra.
You know, I'm probably nitpicking, but when I read through this, what's going through my mind is I don't want to obligate the county to anything that that they would feel uncomfortable with. So,
more questions? Yep. Originally, Mitch, we were talking about a draft letter to Ranger Champa. That's not necessary now, is it, that you worked on the request letter? Do we need to do that as well?
I think the letter would still be a good thing to formalize our request.
Need a formal request probably.
It's just the paper trail thing. So what Bruce is referring to is I drafted a letter before I got the MOU draft. And just to state, the county is requesting cooperating agency status, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's got it here. And I think it would still be good to have the paper trail. There is a chance that we could have a, the things keep changing in the Forest Service. And I think that having this paper trail, hopefully the forest supervisor doesn't do a left turn on us. I guess that's my biggest concern. But having it formalized keeps them, it makes a request into them that they have to act on, rather than just talking on the phone. So I would suggest the letter.
Mr. Chairman, accordingly, we'd be looking for a motion to authorize the chairman to sign. You should have a draft copy in your packet. And
We did on the packet.
it should be.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
on
it.
here.
I didn't remember if I saw it on that.
It might be in general business.
It's in the general business.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah, I've got it up on the screen. So
Okay.
we're looking for a motion to authorize it, and then I have another question after that.
And just on the boundaries, just to be clear, the MOU, it would be for the Northern Hills District. The Northern Hills District does creep over into Meade County, a little bit of Banking County. We would still have an MOU status for that. So it doesn't stop at the county line, it stops at the Forest Service District. But did you have another comment, Bruce? Is that what you-
I was going to let you vote on it and then just ask Mitch. Mitch, I have an envelope ready to send it to Patrick. I can make sure I scan one so you have a copy for your records as well. Fair enough.
Right?
Motion on the chairman sign. Second. It's been moved by Flanagan, seconded by Ewing, to allow the chairman to sign a formal request for MOU to Patrick Champa of the Northern Hills District. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
I'll make you a copy before you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. I took up a lot of your time.
No, good. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for all your work on this.
Yeah.
Mitch has done a great job of coordinating all this and really making some good progress.
Yeah, I'm happy about where we're headed. It looks good. A lot better than last time I was here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, Emma Gerben is here, the Executive Director of the Desert Beach Economic Development. We can take you if you're ready there. Emma.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm Emma Garvin. I'm the Executive Director of the Lead Economic Development Corporation. And this morning I'm requesting support for a new housing study. We released a housing study in 2022. It's on our website. For those of you that don't know, housing studies are required for a majority of large-scale construction projects, and that's housing projects as well as commercial and retail projects. Banks specifically want to see that information to support that the community where the project is happening is going to have enough growth to support whatever project they're doing. And so in 2022, in March of 2022, when we released the study, that study was done by a company who's no longer in business and is very much canned information and relied heavily on 2020 census information. So we knew right from the beginning that a lot of the information had big swings to it, specifically household median income. Was not very accurate, or there were a lot of asterisks throughout the study that said this is, the swing on this due to COVID census information that we had at the time. And so I have been getting a lot of questions and concerns and pushback from developers, builders, realtors, going this, and my own knowledge and what I do in my job is saying our current housing study just does not feel accurate. We've had development, the expansion, the further development and stage run. Some of that's been completed, some of that's still happening, maybe not necessarily in the same way that our housing study from 2022 said it would. Deadwood Ridge Apartments has come online since that housing study. And so we really need to know, did that growth happen? Do we have the right mix of housing currently? And so there are two companies in our state that do housing studies. That's Augustana University and Dakota Institute. I have looked into both of them, and Deadwood Lead Economic Development and working with the Deadwood Main Street Initiative really felt that the Dakota Institute would do the best job of really analyzing our workforce and how that's impacting our housing inventory, as well as our short-term rentals and just the nature of our geography and where we're at and all of that sort of thing. So I did include the proposal from Dakota Institute. A housing study costs, the estimate here is about $17,000 to do the study. And so I've asked a variety of entities, and I think you had the proposal that I gave you up on the screen a second ago that shows the different groups that I requested funding. So I'm just here to ask if Lawrence County would chip in. Yep, thank you. And contribute a little bit of funding. Deadwood MSI, we had requested Deadwood Bids. We had requested $5,000 from them. They came back at half of that at $2,500. Other than that, the other entities on the screen are all committed to those amounts. And that difference that the bids didn't pay that $2,500, Deadwood Lead Economic Development Corporation will pick up that difference. Any questions about a housing study? What goes into it, why it's necessary, or any questions about the cost, the process? They're going to jump right to it. We'll start right away this month, getting some initial information. They'll be on site through May. They actually come to Deadwood with their staff. They interview our top employers and their employees to get direct information on how they're feeling about housing and distance they travel to work and all of those things.
Does that include discussions with the school district?
Absolutely. Yep.
Other entities besides businesses?
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
I don't know if there's any money budgeted for this year, so I assumed it was intended to be a request from the mine severance tax.
It was, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and so I've included the statute for the mine severance tax as well for your.
Which I believe it would qualify for on the fourth part of that. Up to 10,000 a year may be allocated for research activities, which includes economic feasibility studies, planning and land utilization studies.
Mhm.
So this seems like we have a lot of studies, but it is a very important piece when you start looking for more money. They all need that. We kind of know what it's going to say, probably, but it still has to be done.
It's costly, and I will, in full disclosure, the South Dakota Housing Authority offers a grant that would contribute to 50% of the cost of a housing study update, but your housing study has to be at least 6 full years old, and in some cases, they won't look at it until it's more than 7 years old. We're not there yet, and already feeling like we can't really wait another year or two to try to qualify for that 50% match. And so I was trying to be aware of everybody's budget and divvy it out in a more palatable way. So hopefully, yes, that would be acceptable from the mineral severance tax. Thanks for including that, Bruce.
And Brenda, do you have a figure that of mining severance tax money that's available that's not allocated? I should have asked you that sooner. All right.
Give me just 1 second. I'll have it for you. Or give me, how about 10?
Okay. Housing, as we all know, continues to be a challenge for attracting workforce in this area.
Yeah, definitely. Jared McKenteffer is the CEO of Dakota Institute. He is a economist by trade. Yeah, I highly recommend any chance you have to listen to him. He's an excellent speaker, very, very knowledgeable, not just in housing, but in economics as a whole. And so that was another big reason why I wanted to go with Dakota Institute, because he's going to look at far more than just our housing. How many housing units do we have? He's going to look at actually what's impacting our housing and go deeper into it.
And this is just interest balance, 483,384.97.
And some of that was allocated towards the city of or towards the rec center and Whitewood, or
that is what's in their total.
That's it. Their total.
Yes, that's it. As far as what you have allocated, if they reach those X amount of dollars fundraising, that would be. I think one was I
was it 300,000 or 100,000?
Something. 200. I want to say 2 or 1.
Yeah. So there is $3,000 available.
Oh yeah,
for this study.
Definitely there would be. We would, yeah. So if that is, we would have to do a supplemental budget in order to do that, but that's not a problem. So if you just so choose to do so.
Any other questions or discussions or actions?
So the amount then, Emma, that you're requesting from the county commission up to $10,000 is how much?
No, I'm just requesting 3,000
Okay.
from the county commission
Makes sense.
towards the $17,600.
3,000.
Yes.
And this study is strictly as it exists, not recommendations on top of that, or what?
It will analyze all of the impacts to housing. That includes workforce challenges, how far people are driving, household incomes, all of that kind of standard stuff that's in our existing study. And it will then also give some recommendations similar to what our existing study did as well, which was securing funding for rehabs and working with HP to preserve our existing inventory. Then there will be again specific recommendations around number of new construction units, exactly how many of those need to be market rate versus low income versus senior housing. That'll all be included.
We spend a lot of time on workforce housing, but we need to spend more time on what is it, LIHTC, low income technical housing for. Nobody's doing anything on that or building anything. Or land for anything on that.
Our existing housing study didn't indicate that that was a critical need in our area, that extremely low and low income housing. We have some units available. The wait list isn't terribly long for those units. However, they are older and they could use some updating. So again, this is so close, our existing city is so close to COVID numbers that a lot of things could have changed since then. So that's exactly what it's gonna look at again, is where that need is in our community. And same with senior housing. We don't have, we've lost actually in need a senior housing complex in the last 4 years, 2 years.
Commissioner, you?
This is not countywide, this is just the Lee Deadwood area.
Deadwood Lead Central City, yes.
Okay.
And that is because Spearfish Economic Development does their own housing study for their area. I would imagine Whitewood would eventually do their own for their housing study or for their own area.
I'll make a motion to allow the 3,000 to go this project.
Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to fund the study for 3,000. I'm assuming that's from the mining severance tax.
Yes.
fund, Subsection 4.
Interest.
Interest, yes. Any other question or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. Have a wonderful day.
Yes.
Logistically, I think Brenda, you'll send Emma, you have to have her sign the payoff or the pay request, right? Will you send that to her and then we just send her the check so there's nothing else required?
The
Okay.
voucher. That's
The
what
voucher,
you're-
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
the
yeah.
voucher.
Do you need a separate invoice? Or
Yeah, that would be great. And then
Yeah.
if you would just sign that, and then that would take care of all of the other voucher signing and that.
Oh, okay, great. You got it.
So we have to do a public hearing to get the budget authority for that first, so. Probably it'll be sometime in May. I don't know for sure if it'll make it to the first meeting, but I will try hard to make sure that happens.
Do you think that's something I need to be at? Those aren't typically widely debated.
Yeah, so,
Okay. I'll keep an eye on the agenda.
okay, so it'll either be the,
12
or those, what is it?
26.
26, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It just, we gotta get the public notice in, so that's, it's just the timing of that.
No worries. That sounds great.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emma.
Good day.
Thanks, Emma.
So am I correct that that worked through our entire agenda, except we're up to items from the public?
Yeah.
Appears to be that way.
Good work.
Do we have an item today, Sarah? Items from the public? Were you raising your hand for an item?
She's just picking on me like you guys do.
Okay.
But what do you?
I don't see anything online for, and I don't see anybody jumping up, so we'll move on from items of the public and move it into items from the commissioners. Anybody have anything that they'd like to bring forward?
Nope. Not this thing.
So 9:39.
Motion to adjourn as county commission.
Then we open up a separate report. Okay.
9:39.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if you give me a minute, I'm gonna go get Brett. We have a bit of a transition period here.
Absolutely. Yep.
I'm gonna turn the recording off while we, yeah.
Short straw.
She volunteered.
Oh,
I did. Back recording.
Do we need an oath first or how?
Alrighty, I will just go ahead and read the oath and then I'll pass this around for you all to sign. It says, we, the members of the Board of Equalization for Lawrence County in the state of South Dakota for the year of 2026, being first duly sworn, depose and say that we will fairly and impartially perform the duties as the members of the Board of Equalization for the county and the state, that we will endeavor to equalize the assessment of all real property within the county, that we will seek to place upon the books of the jurisdiction within the county any property that may have been omitted by error or neglect of the assessor or Board of Equalization. We will faithfully and impartially perform all other acts enjoined on me by law, to the end that all assessments within the above county may be complete and just and equal as between the property holders.
We don't have to say we do, we just
You
sign
can say
it.
we do.
And you'll sign it as well.
Do we need to sign it before we move on? Or can we
I
move
think
on?
you can move on. Yeah.
Okay, at that point, we will call this meeting of the Board of Equalization to order. First on the agenda would be to approve the agenda. Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, and moved by Tisdale, seconded by Keith to approve the agenda for the Board of Equalization. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay. At this point, we'll probably turn it over to Miss Brett.
Lou, the first thing we have to do is approve the exempt properties, any new exempt properties, correct?
You can do it whatever order you
Yeah.
want. It's all on there.
All right.
There's one, right?
There's one new exempt property. All the other exempt properties would just need to be looked at every 5 years once they've been approved the first time. So this is not the 5-year approval. So, all right. This one is called the Hand Up Foundation. It bought a house in Terry Peak for this last year and wants to get a religious exemption for the house. It says specific uses of the property. Property is a ministry retreat used by the ministry leaders and members specifically for spiritual training, studying, and faith healing. Something faith. I'm not sure that last.
Can't stay.
Camp faith. We did some research, and Bruce and I, into this organization, and we're not really sure that it would qualify. I asked for more information from the Hand Up Foundation. The executive director is
Carrie Black.
Carrie Black. Asked for a 501c3, which they don't really need, but I just thought I'd ask that. And then I said any other documentation to prove that you're religious. And they sent a letter basically saying no. It's a very long letter, and I don't know, did you hand that out or?
No.
Uh,
I don't think so.
Just, I guess, the first paragraph, our private membership association church ministry known as Hand Up Foundation has been given a request from your company for proof of tax exemption and 501c3 status with regards to property tax in order to complete and create a tax exempt account for our organization. We've never had to apply for this request with any public franchise as there are no law, statute, or code that requires us to do so. And it continues to prove that point. Further thing that they don't need to. And honestly, with church organizations, they don't have to, even with the IRS, right? But they should have some kind of documentation saying of what they do.
Brett, additionally, into the information that we have on the screen, did they also add that, just so that their point of view is being represented here, you talked to them in email or directly, I can't remember which one, but they mentioned about using it quarterly, the facility quarterly or something like that?
So at first it was kind of up in the air whether or not they actually we could bring this application in front of you, because it was supposed to be done by November 1st and we received it last week. We didn't get it on our list in the paper that we have to list the tax exempt organizations every year in the paper. But we because they did get it in by the appeal deadline, we allowed it to come before the board. So going back, what was the question again?
Well,
Trying to get where we're, the history here. Oh, so then I called her up and she had said during the conversation that they're gonna use it quarterly for these retreat meetings. Or possibly in the future, maybe have kids come for retreats, but they were not associated with any church. I asked them if they were associated with any sort of church, and they're not. They're their own church.
if I may, Mr. Chairman. And so, looking at the statutes, if they're applying as a church, they do not need to have a 501 documentation of a 501c3, as Brett said. When we saw the word foundation, we were thinking, it didn't say church foundation, we were thinking organization. So if they were another kind of charitable organization that we could ask for the 501c3, or they should have that. So we can't hold that against them that they don't have that 501c3 paperwork. But again, as Brett said, she asked for any other additional information.
Yeah.
And so we've been trying to be comprehensive on what we've learned. And so we would include the language on the screen or on the form, check the box for a church, and then also what Brett has added. And we've done some looking, and we can't find a hand up church in South Dakota. There is a link on a webpage that we found to from the
Well,
applicant.
it's LinkedIn, her LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
But it had a website on there, but the website didn't go to anywhere.
It would show that she's the executive director of the LinkedIn Foundation, or LinkedIn Hand Up Foundation in Milton, Pennsylvania. So the tie we have is to it's like a thrift store in Milton, Pennsylvania, and
Which does have a church. The organization there is legitimate. The Milton, Pennsylvania. It has a thrift store that raises money for the church and other things that they do in Milton, Pennsylvania. She just refers to her employees in the link on the LinkedIn page. They're from Milton, Pennsylvania, and we're associated with that organization there. But
Commissioner Ewing.
Motion to deny.
Can I make one point before you do that? And so according to the statute, so I don't think we've ever had this come up before. So we're looking at SDCL 10-417. And so what you'd be doing would be making a preliminary determination that any or all or any part of the property in the application is in fact taxable. And if you go ahead with that motion, then we have to give them at least 7 days notice, and they have an opportunity to be heard. So that would be at your next meeting on April 28th. And so they would come back in and we would present additional information that we have.
That's
So just
fine.
to have an overview.
Stick with my motion.
Second. It's been moved by Ewing, seconded by Tisdale to deny the exemption. Any further questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, the exemption is denied.
Thank you. This went quite a bit of time.
Sounds like it.
Thanks for the research.
Yeah.
all right, so we'll start with the stipulations for version. Let's start.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, number one,
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep up on the screen too.
all right, so for Four Bears in the Hills LLC, we have a parcel. This one. We're on the 18, oh yeah, this is down by the golf course, I apologize, just double checking my work here. Okay, so this is a lot next to the condos in, in Apple Springs development, in the Apple Springs. And the owner would like to see the assessed value lowered. Anyone done? Sure.
I don't share it.
With the sales as they are in Apple Springs, we didn't offer a stipulation. We offer you the comps for review. This is a 0.61 acre lot.
It is between high-end properties such as the condos and 2 other houses that have been built, and they are backing up to the golf course, one of the main areas of the golf course. Plus, it's just going to be down the street from the new clubhouse, thank you, and restaurant. So we have sales of 0.450 acres for 189,000. And again, another one for 0.460 acres for 189,000. 0.520 acres for 170,000, and then we have one at 147,000, which is not near the golf course, but it can overlook it, has access issues and topography issues. But they do present the market in this area that where you can have a view of the golf course or be near it, and the sale prices.
Move to deny. Second.
It's been moved to, Tisdale, second by Ewing, to deny the stipulation. Is that what it is?
No, this is the
Actually,
appeal. I
Appeal.
misspoke. Actually, we're gonna just go through all of the Apple Springs one at the same time.
No,
correct?
no,
just
I have them
orders.
in order. No, I have them in order of
Okay.
your sheet.
So 1803 was not a step utility lot.
Right, no.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I had sent the in the direction.
Okay.
So yes, this is not a stip. So
This is an appeal. To deny the appeal.
that's an appeal, yes.
Okay, so
So this didn't get caught up with when I sent an email saying we were not gonna stip it. I apologize.
okay, so everybody understand what we're doing?
Mhm.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, that is denied.
We're just gonna go down the list that we, okay,
Brian.
sounds great.
All right, for number 2, for Brian Amundson, we have an in-house correction, for the assessment value. We have the land at 2.49 acres at $90,070, and we are reducing it to $79,470. This is due to, a miscalculation of a function on the, or factor on the land.
Move to follow recommendation.
Second. Been moved by Flanagan, second by Tisdale, to follow recommendations and approve the correction. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay. Correct that.
All right, number 3 is for Lori Anderson and her husband. They have a house that they purchased on Bluebird Court in the Boulder Park edition of Boulder Canyon. And after a full review of the house is functioning as an older house despite being built in 2011, and also has this situation with the foundation and water seepage. So we went from $584,050 down to $546,140. This is my recommendation.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second.
Been moved by Ewing, second by Comer, to follow recommendations and correct the value. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, that passes.
Number 4 is for Arts Kids, is the Marta's Doghouse in Boulder Canyon. And we have another in-house correction for calculations in our CAMA system. And we're going from 590,000 to 110 to 550,520. That is my recommendation.
Move follow recommendation. Second.
Been moved by Flanagan, seconded by Tisdale, to follow recommendations and make the listed correction. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion passes.
All right. County Joe Ayer or Air. This is the same thing as I had the abatement for earlier. This is just taking off the next year, that structure that actually wasn't on the piece of ground. So the ag C 42.01 acres for 6,530 would stay the same. So just the structure would be taken off because it does not, is not there.
Move follow recommendation. Second.
Been moved by Tisdale, second by Flanagan, to follow recommendations and make the adjustment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, passes.
Okay, Louis owns a house out off of Rochford Road. He appealed his value that was at 310. I did an inspection of the property, and it's in really rough shape. There's a lot of deferred maintenance. It's barely weather tight. So I'm just gonna increase the physical depreciation on it, which would take the value down to 241,040. And that's my recommendation.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second.
And moved by Ewing, second by Comer to follow recommendation and adjust the value down. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, make that change.
So Michael Brinkmeyer has a lot in Frawley Ranch that he's had listed for almost a year off and on. I had it valued at 331,000, or I'm sorry, 311,530 for the 2.22 acres. He's had it listed on the market for almost a year at 260,000. So I actually reduced the value to just underneath the listing price. At 256,560, and that is my recommendation.
Follow recommendation.
Second. And moved by Tisdale, second by Flanagan to follow recommendations and adjust the value down. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, got that one done.
Classic design.
Classics Design had pulled a permit to build a house on a lot in Spearfish, and the city of Spearfish actually gave us the wrong parcel number. So the house was added to an incorrect lot. So basically what we're doing is we're going to add it to the correct lot at this point, which is lot 12, block 11 in the Countryside subdivision behind Countryside Church. So the NAD value is 114,890. And that will remain the same, but we're going to add an NAD1 value for the structure of 612,350 for a total value of 727,240. And that's an in-house correction for us. And they have been notified.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second. And moved by Ewing, seconded by Flanagan to follow recommendations and make the correction. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion passes.
Crowny Trust.
These folks bought a house in Higgins Gulch on 10.71 acres. It was eggland before from the previous owner. They also are in the process of buying a parcel next door to them. It's on contract from the same people. So they applied for an egg and meeting all of the requirements to apply. So I'm recommending the building not change, the building value not change, but the egg land and the exemption be applied. So the value, total value is going to go from 744,480 down to 587,500.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second.
And moved by Flanagan, seconded by Ewing to follow recommendations and change the classification. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Gunderson.
Lindsay Gunderson had contacted me about the cabin that they had out in Spearfish Canyon. And it had been torn down in July, completely finished and cleaned up by October. So I went out and did an inspection on it, and yes, it is gone. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just remove the structure value. So the NAC value will stay at 191,410, and I will be removing the 101,580 value as classified NAC1. So the value will go from 292,990 to 191,410.
Follow recommendations.
Second.
Been moved by Tisdale, second by Comer to follow recommendation and reduce the value. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes.
H2O.
We have another Apple Springs. Missing the stipulation, so it's up there. I apologize. Okay, so this is a well lot. And it did not get the same treatment as another well lot, which we brought the factor down on the land. And so the assessed value is going from $150,000 down to $4,800 as a utility lot. And we have other examples that we have done that before.
Move to follow recommendation.
Second.
Moved by Flanagan, seconded by Tisdale to follow recommendations and make the correction for a utility lot. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion carries.
Hilberg. We actually went out to his house and did a full inspection of his property. And it definitely was, it needed the value to go down. It wasn't exactly how it was supposed to be. So I'm recommending the land stay the same at $159,770. But the house, recommending it going from $314,610 to $266,800. I had to put the exemption in here, so the final value goes from $274,380 to $226,570.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second. And moved by Ewing, seconded by Comer to follow recommendations and change the value of the home. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion passes.
I don't trust. I'm not sure if it's IMO or EVO.
Could be IMO.
So this one actually was mainly just a correction. I had put his land at secondary value because the only way to get to his property is through his other property. There's no other way to access it. And it's the topos, there's no building on it. It's location issues, access topo issues. So I was just bringing that down because the land value had gone up in the neighborhood, but I had forgotten to adjust that back to the secondary. So the land value would go from $18,600 to $16,560.
Follow recommendation.
Second.
And moved by Flanagan, seconded by Tisdale, follow recommendation and reduce the value. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion passes.
Yes.
David Iverson is building a house out in Eagle Ridge, and I went out to do the inspection and it is not complete. So I estimated completion based on the exterior of the property, and he actually called me and sent me the information about what is not done on the inside, and then allowed me to go and look in all the windows of his property because he's in Tennessee at this point. I found that I had overestimated the amount of completion. So I made adjustments to that structure. I had estimated quite a bit more than was done. So the land at the NAC value at 9.57 acres will remain the same at $177,870. The NAC 1 value will go from $400,840 to $183,850. The change will be from $578,710 to $361,720. And then I will look at it again this fall and hopefully it's done.
Moved by Tisdale, seconded by Comer to follow recommendation and reduce the value of the unfinished home. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion passes.
Job Restored owns one of the townhouses over in Whitewood at 801 Pine Street, the ones that have been open to weather for a long time and just finally got finished. She's had it listed, they've had it listed for almost 9 months at $334,000. I actually went over and looked at it and determined that some of the depreciation was, it wasn't enough depreciation, I guess what you would say. So the NAD value will stay at $10,500. The NAD1 value will go from 340,340 to 315,270. The totals will go from 350,840 to 325,770.
Motion to follow recommendation. Sorry.
Been moved by Ewing, seconded by Colmer to follow recommendation and reduce the value. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay.
Okay, this is a lot owned by Mary Kiner. It's in Spearfish up on Charles Street. Basically, it's the last bare lot left in that development, right on Charles Street. There's two behind Charles Street, that's part of the development. Those two lots have adjustments for one location in Togo. She's had her lot listed for 75,000 for quite some time. It was at 83,520. So I looked at the adjustment that I made on the other two lots and looked at hers and gave her a similar adjustment based on the location of the topo. And since she's got it for sale for quite some time, for less than what we had assessed at, I adjusted it. And so I recommend her value go from 83,520 down to 71,000.
Move to follow recommendation. Second. Moved by Tisdale, seconded by Flanagan to follow recommendation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Dick? Passes.
This one is David Kiner, David and Mary, both own a parcel on Evans Lane. Birdsong Place, but it's right off of Evans Lane. It had a double wide bungalow on it. They did get a building permit in October. We try to catch those, but oftentimes building permits in October are complete. But of course, this one moved out, it's sold and moved out, and we didn't catch it. So the assessment notice went out with the mobile home value on it, but it had already moved out of the county prior to November 1st. So just recommending the mobile home value be removed. So what remains is a small yard shed and a small concrete pad and the land for a total of 57,520.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second. And moved by Colmer, seconded by Flanagan to follow recommendation and remove the mobile home from the assessment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Okay, these folks bought a parcel of land that's 10.041 acres, and it's way west of Spearfish, almost to the county line in Rigby Ranch. They are qualifying because they're leasing the additional land to the people next door who are ag land. They're going to build a house on it. They have a building permit, but the remaining portion of the land, they're leasing it as grazing or maybe hay. I'm not sure, but they did meet the qualifications to qualify as ag. So it's going to go from non-ag C acreage at 143,290 down to ag C of $1,870.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second. And moved by Ewing, seconded by Tisdale to follow recommendation and reduce the value due to ag status. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Here, those will just hear Daryl Johnson in my head.
Well, but I mean,
MC Range.
our hands are tied because of they changed the rules.
At some point here, if we do some of these, if we could just refresh our memories on the qualifications for ag status.
Sure, would you like that? I can tell you right now. So.
Yeah, we can do that now, right?
You have to meet you have to meet 2 to 3. The primary one is that the primary use of the land is ag. Then you either have to meet 41 acres or having an income of $2,500 for 5 years. So those are the three. So this last person did not have the acreage, but they said that the primary use of their land was ag and had a receipt of $2,500, a little bit more, for grazing.
And those are state laws, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think as we just discussed, you can use non-contiguous land as well to get to the acreages, right?
Only if you own it, yeah,
Yep.
if you own it, but they don't, in this case, own any more land. But
Within 20 miles, is that correct?
within 20.
And then, Mr. Chairman, and I think our minimum acreage requirement is 41, but I think by state law, you could go as high as 80, I think is what it is. And so just so new members can hear that, you never heard that before, so you could change it up to 80.
Yeah.
It's been 41 as long as I've been here.
But the acreage requirement seldom comes into play.
Yeah.
It's usually
Yeah.
a income.
Yeah.
And use. Thank you for that.
Okay, so Miller Ranch, Miller Ranch LLC, he has 12 lots that have been listed since the conception of this new development off of Christensen Drive. I made some adjustments to the lots this year based on some of the listing prices and what have you, but I missed a few as some of them are well lots that cannot be built upon or green space that cannot be built upon per the plat. So the first one we're looking at is parcel ending in 5-3. This is designated as open space per the PUD and DRD zoning requirement for the city of Spearfish. So we have an NAD value of 313,500 going to an NAD value of $9,690.
Build site, just an open space lot.
Just an open space,
Non-buildable lot.
non-buildable, yep.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second. And moved by Flanagan, seconded by Comer to make the reduction due to the non-building status of the lot.
Are all of these non-buildable?
No, just
All those in
I
favor say
believe the
aye.
first two.
Any opposed, nay? Okay.
Oh, maybe more, sorry. There are a few, sorry. Then on the parcel ending in 5-4, same situation there. It's by designated open space per the PUD and DRD zoning requirement for the city of Spearfish. So it's going to go from an NAD value for 3.44 acres of 261,000 to an NAD value on 3.44 acres of $6,000.
And that's non-buildable.
Non-buildable,
Follow right.
yeah.
Second. Been moved by Dale, seconded by Ewing to approve the reduction due to non-buildable status. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Okay, parcel ending in 01. This is actually a drainage lot, designated drainage lot for the PUD and DRD zoning requirement for the city of Spearfish. So the NAD value for 0.68 acres will go from $2,000 to an NAD value on 0.68 acres to $1,180.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second. And moved by Ewing, second by Comer to follow the recommendation to reduce the value. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Parcel ending in 02, same situation, designated drainage lot per the PUD. It will go from an NAD value of $4,070 to an NAD value of $3,570.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second. And moved by Comer, seconded by Ewing to follow recommendations and reduce the value. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay?
Parcel ending in 03, same situation, designated as a drainage lot per the PUD and DRD. It will go from an NAD value of $2,000 to an NAD value of $1,660.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second.
And moved by Comer, seconded by Ewing, to follow recommendation and reduce the value for drainage purposes of the lot. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed.
The remaining stipulations will be based on the listing price that they've had for over a year. So we'll go through each one of those. Point 001-01 is currently listed at 199,000. So it went from the NAD value of 207,500 to 198,990.
Second.
And moved by Flanagan, seconded by Ewing, to reduce the value due to the listing price. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Nay. Motion passes.
Parcel ending in 002-01, same situation. It's been listed for $119,000. So the NAD value will go from 127,910 to 118,940.
Full recommendation. Second.
And moved by Flanagan and seconded by Ewing to follow recommendations and reduce the value. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Nay.
Parcel ending in 003-02, same situation, listed for 117,000. The NAD value will go from 118,760 to NAD value of 116,980.
We're on 0302.
Wrong one.
We're on 0102. Let's just leave this up here.
Oh, sorry,
No, that's
0102. I thought I
I'll
had.
just leave it right there.
Sorry, that was 03. Okay, you got it. Okay. So 001-02. That again, same situation, listed for 165,000. The NAD value will go from 172,130 to 164,980.
Motion to follow recommendation. Second.
And moved by Comer, seconded by Flanagan to follow recommendation and reduce the value due to the listing price. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
I already did 0302.
They voted on it.
Okay, let's do that one again. Okay, so then the 003-02. It will go from 118,760 to 116,980, listed for 117,000 for the past.
Follow recommendation.
Second.
Been moved by Flanagan, seconded by Comer to follow recommendations, reduce the value. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion passes.
Parcel ending in 001-03. NAD value will go from 173,650 to 164,970. It's been listed for 165,000 for the past year.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second. Been moved by Comer, seconded by Flanagan to follow recommendation and reduce the value due to sales or listing price. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Nay.
Okay, motion passes.
Parcel ending in 004-08. Same situation, been listed for 117,000. NAD value from 118,760 to an NAD value of 116,980.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second. And moved by Comer, seconded by Flanagan to follow recommendations, reduce the value, sales or listing price reasons. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Nay.
Last one is 002-29. Been listed for $119,000 for the past year. NAD value will go from 129,440 to 118,950.
Motion follow recommendation.
Second.
Moved by Flanagan, seconded by Comer to follow recommendations, reduce the value of the sales price listing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes.
Could we do the, let's see, which one is that again? Mid-state, they're here we could do the appointment right now.
Sure. This is 124-00, is that where we're at?
Get 124-00,
On the front
and
page.
usually we have, Mid-States Power, you can go first and explain your case, I guess, and why you like it lowered and. Go ahead.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Just so you know what you're looking at, it's describing it. And,
Okay. Thank you. I think you can go ahead when you're ready.
Okay, my name is Ray Brenner, I'm with Mid-States Power. So my wife and I, we looked up here for 15 years for property. Over COVID, or in that era, we actually found a piece that we really liked and we bought it. I will tell you flat out, we overpaid for it. I think everybody from out of state that comes up here is price gouged by the local realtors. They're lied to, they're cheated. They don't get what they're told. We were told that the county road, that Crow Peak Bench Lane, is a county road all the way to the driveway that feeds the property that we access our property with. It's not. I pay to use that road. The property to the south of us is owned by the state of South Dakota. They don't pay to use that road, but I have to pay to use that road. I have to pay to maintain it.
Who do you pay to use it?
Phil Christensen, he's the one that maintains it. And the land actually belongs to Frank, gosh, I can't think of his last name off the top of my head. Frank or Dean, he has two first names we go by, but anyway, Higgins Gulch starts there, so the actual road is on his property because Higgins Gulch should be where a county road would have been, but you can't build a road over a 350-foot deep hole. So anyway, we had an agreement with the realtor that a road would be built. We have an easement to our property. Road was never built. Easement, we got the easement. We were told power would be brought in by Butte Power, free of charge. No, that was $500,000 to get power to the property. We were told that it was just glacial till on our property. It's solid rock. There's maybe a quarter acre of dirt that's 2 feet deep on our property. To even excavate for a foundation, $90,000 is the quote I have, just to put footings onto the rock, to pin them. I talked to a neighbor out there and I said the reason that property had never been built on was because everybody basically assumed it was unbuildable. It's a beautiful piece of property, but it's solid rock. Maybe 30% of the property is actual buildable property. The other 70% is on such steep slopes or in Higgins Gulch, it's not buildable. So that's a couple of problems that we have with the property. But now I'm gonna say some brutal things. And I don't want you to be mad, but I am gonna say some very brutal stuff. So we bought this land and with the full intention to build on this for our retirement home. I'm almost 60. I work roughly 80 to 110 hours a week, every week of my life. For me to come up here, I lost $5,000 just to come up here for this meeting. I took 2 days off of work. It cost $500 for diesel just to get here. Plus hotel food. We've been coming up here 20 years. We spent a fortune up here having our kids, we come up here on vacation. We really feel like the people that are not from here are being taken advantage of, and they really are. When I came up to protest our taxes 3 years ago, I came in and I explained my point. I want to know why that we couldn't get an ag exemption. The land's zoned ag. There's nothing built on it. There's nothing different on our land than there is on the people that are using their land as ag, or the state of South Dakota's land that's right next to us. That they're people that hunt on their land, hunt on our land. The same animals roam on their land that roam on our land. The people to the north of us, they have an ag exemption. Their land's valued at $182 an acre. Ours is valued at $8,500 an acre. Their cattle graze on our ground down in Higgins Gulch. Why are we being ripped off like that? Why is anybody being ripped off like that? It just infuriates me. The state's land to the south of us is assessed at $367 an acre. Their land's identical to ours, but we're $8,500. Their land is zoned farm, and it's being used just like our land is. We spend $10,000 a year on taxes and cleaning up dead trees on our property every year. I'm in at 50 grand and I haven't done anything to it. I was told to get a farm exemption that I was given a sheet with, I don't know, it was 3 pages thick, front and back, of names that I had to contact to have an ag plan done. We raise cattle. We have chickens. We have cows. We have barn cats. We live in the country. My wife works in an 80,000 head feedlot. That's what we do in Nebraska. We're all ag. And I do that before I go to work in the morning. I don't understand the massive discrepancy between $182 an acre valuation and $8,500. How that can even, the deal is to equalize property values, not price gouge. Just because we're not locals doesn't mean that we don't have to work for our money. We didn't come from California and make our money in Bitcoin mining. We didn't make our money in owning a $200,000 bungalow and selling it for $4.8 million 10 years later. That's not how the real world works. That might be on the East and West Coast, but that's not here in the Midwest. I just spoke with a commissioner of a town here, just 15 minutes before I walked in here. And he said people are leaving this area because of the high taxes, and they need to raise another 50 million to redo infrastructure. He said, there's no way to get it. They're already taxing people to a point they want to leave. Said people can't afford to live here. Quotes to build a house on this property, an average house, $550 a square foot. That's for your garage, $550 a square foot. If you have a basement, an unfinished basement, your main floor, if you have a second floor, $2 million to build an average house, that's highway robbery. I don't even know how anybody can afford to build. That's nothing like where it's at. We're $250 a square foot with the land and everything. We've got blasting, septic, water, road, well, all this other stuff that's not even included in that price. That's why we haven't built yet. But when we came up and contested our property values 3 years ago, and it was Lois that I talked to, I was told this. She said, people come up here and they fall in love with the hills and they decide they want to buy a piece of it and they pay stupid amounts of money for it. And she looked at me and said, you're one of those people. That's what a county official told me. That did not sit very well with me. And I was told that same thing 2 years ago. And then we have tried and tried and tried to get an ag exemption. Nobody on that list will even return your call. The only person that I actually had any interest was the tree place, the mill over here in Spearfish. and they wanted to just clear cut it. If that property didn't have trees on it, or if there was a fire that rolled through it, the value of that land is zero. There's no dirt on it. Grass only is growing in decaying root structure and pine needles, and it's rock. I love the piece of property and I love the neighbors, but spending $5,000 a year on property taxes for a chunk of rock that's going to cost me $1.5 million, $2 million to build a modest home on is ridiculous. When I know the neighbor is paying 1/50th of what I am per acre in property taxes. And it's not just that neighbor. And as all that neighbor is, that land is just sitting in for farm use to be sold as development property later. So that farmer that's paying nothing in taxes is going to make good bank when he sells that 40 acres for $500,000 to the next guy that's going to be in the same boat we are. And I'm not the only story. I'm probably the only one that's gutsy enough to tell you this, but this is going on all over. Even during COVID, we looked at a house in Rapid City. Nice house, brand new construction. $340,000 was it. The reason that we were skeptical about buying it, had a steep paved driveway. We came back the following year, the house was finished. They had more than doubled the price. Everybody wanted to get out of the big cities to buy property, to be away from COVID and all the sick people. That's what drove the prices up. The prices where they're at are not sustainable. And that I would have a hard time believing I would get that money out of that property if I sold it today. And I've got the comps that Lois gave me. But here's a couple things that you have to take into account. So is it on a county road? Do they have public utilities available? Is it a chunk of rock? Is it flat? Has it got dirt? How far is it to water if you've got to drill a well? I mean, there's all of these different things that all matter in the true value. And Lois gave me some stuff too of current listings. And she showed me all these listings that are, $3.5 million to 800,000. Well, just because somebody asks something for a property doesn't mean they're going to get it. I could ask 10 million for that property to sit for sale for the next 100 years. Like I said, when I was just in league, I talked to a commissioner there. The guy that's got a house for sale for $700,000. One Zillow this week has a $300,000 price reduction. And the house is not worth anywhere near that, going by what the commissioner told me. I mean, people all think they're going to hit a home run on this stuff. Some do, most don't. But the realtors up here, I find, to be honest with you, extremely dishonest. Because what they tell you and what's the real life scenario, and I can't hire a geologist to come up here. I don't have time for that stuff. They tell me it's glacial till, you expect it to be glacial till. They're from here. And I will tell you, I personally ran power to that property. I did it myself. That's what I do. I run 100 to 300 miles of public utilities a year by myself. I no longer have any employees. I got rid of my employees 10 years ago because I got tired of running a daycare. That is solid rock. All through Frank Rubin's property, Dean or Frank Rubin, whatever you call it, is glacial till and black dirt. The minute you get onto Jet Mills property, it turns into solid rock. The minute you cross the private Crow Peak Brents Road, solid rock. You go up the hill along his south property line, it's solid rock. Where his steel building is built, he has a 5-foot vein of black dirt that runs out real quick because it's in a wash area where water erosion and water would wash that. And that is the same. He's got good black dirt in that area. That's where his building's sitting on, and the foundation is on rock because he ran out of dirt to excavate. On our property, we hired Peterson and we hired Jet both to go out and excavate randomly all over the property. And we have one spot that's about 1/4 of an acre that's got 2 feet of glacial till on it. That's it. Other than that, it's solid rock. It is not worth what we paid for it, and it's definitely not worth what we're being assessed on it. And to be honest with you, it's probably, the farmer, the ground that's being assessed is farm ground to the north of us. Their assessment should be way higher and ours should be way lower. Even people out there that are my neighbors have farm animals and they're not having it. They don't get a farm exemption. But we bought the land and we maintain it. We let people come up and hunt it for free. We don't charge them. It's only 50 acres. We let the neighbors' children run on it. We let the neighbors run their horses on it. And even without us knowing it, we let the neighbor to the north of us run his cattle on it. Because he is. I've been down in Higgins Gulch and there's cattle hoof prints all over on our property down there in the very bottom. And I don't know where the fence is that they're getting through, but there's a fence they're getting through. So, but that's my side of the story. And I'm sorry I kind of gone off on you. But I figured somebody needs to at least say what they think to be is what really is going on up here. So thank you.
Yep, thank you. Fill some of those too. Did you have more to say on this part?
Oh, well, I just thought I would explain.
Sure.
My sales grid. So, unfortunately, for Mr. Renner, by South Dakota state law, our job is to assess property at market value. And if you look at your sales grid, for starters, back in 2021, just as things were exploding in the county, Mr. Renner paid $550,000 for a 50-acre tract. So what I did when he appealed is what we typically do. I went and found some comparable field and similar properties. As you can kind of tell from the pictometry photos, I tried to find similar with some trees, maybe not all trees, in the area. So the first sale, if you'll look at your map, it's numbered 1 in the yellow highlight. And that's out on Red Hill Road. That sold in 2023 for $550,000, and that was 41 acres. That doesn't have any trees on it, but it's hilly. It's, similar appearance as west of Spearfish, that whole area out there. Similar ways to get to it. All gravel roads. He did build a house on it. Just to give you an indicator, that sold in 2022 for $360,000, and then turned around and sold a year later for $550,000. That's what the market's been doing. That's nothing we can control or manage. It's what we analyze to determine our values. My second sale is out on Bear Ridge Road, has more trees on it, similar situation, similar appearance, west of Spearfish, gravel roads. That's 40 acres, sold for $500,000 in 2024. And that's sale number 2 highlighted on your map. That's the very southwest part of the area. Sale number 3 is just northeast of Spearfish, but it is similar as far as gravel roads. It's got some trees on it. It's got some bare buildable land. That sold for $550,000 and they have 25. There again, an indicator value. It sold in 2023 for $515,000 and turned around in 2025 and sold for $550,000. So things just are still up. I did, just as a reference, include these other 2 sales. Sale number 8. This is Chet Nelson's property, just to the north of him. And this is where he has the easement to get to this property through Chet Nelson's property that he referred to on his 911 application to eventually build a house. If you'll look at the map that he included on his 911 application, he talked about his access to his property through Chet Nelson's. Chet paid around the same time in 2021 for 40 acres. He paid $430,000. I also included which is part of a planning development of their Brook Bench development. 8.91 acres up there sold for 400,000. Is it different in that it's flat, there's no grade on it? Is it part of a planning development? Yes. I just wanted to give you a reference. Those lots in the Brook Bench are in a different, what we call neighborhood. You're familiar with neighborhoods around the county. We don't study sales in Deadwood to determine these values. We don't study sales in Whitewood to determine these values. We study like properties. And that's why we call them neighborhoods and use them as neighborhoods. So unfortunately, Brook Bench is a beautiful place. It's just a beautiful Black Hills area. And unfortunately, our answer is no. If he qualifies for A, we just went through that. That's not our decision to make. If they qualify for state statute, they qualify. If they don't, they don't. I did send him to Nicole, and he said he got the paperwork to check into that.
Question, Mr. Buell?
Well, no, I don't have a question. I just want to be transparent here. I own 300 acres to the north of you up there. And we do ranch.
Okay, are you talking about the quarries going in?
I'm on the east side of the road.
Okay.
Larson's are on the west side, but everything up there, there's a piece between you and I that I think Barb Browning owns and Cameron Larson leases that. And that's probably his cattle that get on you, because they do come up out of the canyon.
I don't see that.
Huh?
Next door neighbor is Baxter, Robert Baxter.
Okay, but anyway, I'm on the north side of Muller Road.
Okay.
That piece in there. I just want you to know. And should I recuse myself from this?
You know, I don't see why.
All right.
You have no financial benefit.
No, I don't, but I mean, I will agree with this gentleman on the limestone because we have the same issue. It's solid limestone. You don't have to go very far.
I will tell you, I do utility work for a living, and cutting that is 300 feet a day, working 12-hour days.
He sent me a video, you see all over this one, but he sent me a video one day of him on the trencher
So there's a
And-
giant rock wheel.
and recording the ants on the ground. That ground is so hard that the ants were moving faster than he
That's
was.
the geology of the Black Hills, that's where limestone surfaces, and that's why it's, an opportunity for a gravel operation, just because that's the geology of the Black Hills. There's much other geological information out there, particularly with water, if you're interested. It's because the Madison and the Minnelusa really control the water, particularly if there's no surface water, because it sucks it all in. So it's just part of the geology of the Black Hills.
But, you brought up several issues here, and the property tax formula in South Dakota is fairly complicated. And part of that is ag exemptions. And that's based on productivity, not on sales ratio. That's why there's a discrepancy there. But there is ways to,
$8,000 an acre.
there is ways to comply with the ag exemption, and so you've got that information now.
No, nobody will do anything. Nobody.
Well, you have the acreage. You should possibly talk to the neighbor that you brought up that you think his cattle's on you and see if he'll lease your piece and graze it, and then you have the second part of that puzzle to get ag status.
But even if ag status, how is, so the state of South Dakota owns the 150 whatever acres to the south of us.
Mhm.
And it's considered game production area.
Right.
That land is valued at more than $8,000 less per acre.
We don't get any taxes on the state.
No.
I understand that.
So it's valued at
That's
zero
on par though
technically.
with the land to the north of us. And is what I'm getting at is in Nebraska, and we're just like here, we have all sorts of different types of soil, whether it's sandy loam, black silt, whatever, river sand. You're taxed on the productivity of the land. So if you pay $15,000 an acre for blow sand and you can't irrigate it, and you're only gonna get 40 bushel of corn per acre, they know that your production is not gonna be anything and your taxes are based accordingly. But what I see is our lot or our land is being assessed on a cost basis, which is what somebody paid for it, versus the other land out there being assessed at, it's just ag land, and we'll just kind of throw a price on it no matter what. There's no such thing as our land being worth 50 times more per acre than the exact same land just stepping on the other side of a barbed wire fence. That's impossible.
So, sir, I think you just explained what I was trying to explain, though, that ag land is based on productivity. And if you can comply with those regulations, you can be taxed as ag land.
So
the rest of it gets taxed on a sales ratio. All of the other land gets taxed on a sales ratio, which the department staff has demonstrated that that's kind of what the sales ratio is for that. So yes, I will not disagree. There's a huge discrepancy in that. But it's because of the tax formula that we're having to follow.
That's ag land. So they look at the soils, basically with the soils layer, and then they see, they have basically it's all by soils. And actually, they do get productivity numbers as far as grazing and as far as crops. And then they have this really complicated formula that I cannot explain to you, and basically give you a price per acre. So they'll have a top crop rate and a top for each. So whatever that soil is, they give it a factor, of what that is to the top crop. It's always really low. So ag land here is really low, especially in some of the soils probably by where you are.
You can't even plant a tree on it
Right.
without dynamiting a hole.
Right. So it's probably rated pretty low, and it's probably why their ag land is really low. So that's, that's ag land all over here is really.
But
really low.
that's my problem though.
Yeah.
Nobody will do anything. The mill said, oh, we'll come out, clear cut your property and take the trees.
Yeah.
And we'll do your whatever study that's required. And I'm like, well, if you cut all the trees down, the land's worth nothing. So what do you do? I mean, nobody up here will do anything. I'll bet at least 50% of the people on that list, you leave a message, they don't call you back, they don't care.
Yeah, so that would be that would be the way to prove by a timber plan, basically, is what that is. But you can prove also by, as I said, grazing. So if you got a grazing, or people do haying, and if you have a contract with another person that grazes on it or something, you can also prove by that.
Yeah, you can go get a timber management plan, developed, file at the county, and then there'll be your tax break if you implement your timber management plan. Because what you're trying to do there is prevent the bug beetles from coming and going. And it won't be a clear cut, but it's just a management plan, and there'll be your tax break there too.
Yeah, he's not getting.
I mean, nobody will do it.
Well, that's,
our sons.
you have to provide the county a timber management.
I understand, but nobody will do it.
Yeah, Bruce, do you have a comment here?
Bill Colburn does those, doesn't he?
I'll just say there's a forester out of Newcastle that'll do it. I've had one done.
Do you know his name?
It's a her.
I'll give you Bill Colburn's number.
Bill Colburn's a good contact. Nyman Foresters has Nyman, but this lady used to work for Nyman, and that's what she does. She does forest management.
Okay.
Give me a minute.
And check with Cameron Larson.
Yeah.
On possibly leasing your property to him to let his cattle graze.
And I don't have a problem with that, but the thing is, we already spend about $10,000 a year on taxes and paying our sons to come up, cut down beetle kill or clean up dead trees.
Jamie Schmidt. She's with Forester with Rosa Forestry. I think they're out of Newcastle. She is.
Just got approved 25.
That's 307.
A year like these.
275. 439.
And they're all.
And Cameron Larson's owns property up there by us. Okay, thank you. But like I said, we've had our neighbors run their horses on it. Frank used to ride his horses, but now he's old enough that he's afraid he falls off. So if his horses go on our property, they're walked. We had another gentleman that was, we had a picnic table out there for people to go sit and just relax. Same thing, people come flying through there. bypass all those trespassing signs on our neighbor's land, take the picnic table and the bench, throw it over the cap rock and just leave it down at the bottom in trees, you know, I mean, we can't stop any of that, but we try to take care of it. We were up there yesterday, all day picking up garbage, you know, from garbage isn't from us. And we don't generate revenue from Airbnbs or whatever they're called. Everybody out there has got, I think Jet's got, I think 3 or 4 Airbnbs on his property and building another one. Our other neighbors lease their house out and live in a camper on their property. And they tell us they do that to pay the taxes. But I've fought this for 5 years and I've not gotten anywhere. And like I said, that list for the ag exemption, we gave up because nobody ever returns your call. And like I said, to clear cut the property, that wasn't the idea of us buying it. We bought 50 acres, or we were told we had to have at least 40, was to stop developers from coming in, carving it up and turning it into 1 acre lots. You know, and we don't want that. And even some people at the assessor's office I've talked to said, thank you for doing that. We appreciate somebody actually, you know, taking care of the place. So, but I just want you to know, we're not from some faraway state, and we just come out here to vacation for 1 week a year and then fly off to Europe or whatever. We work. And I have no plans on retiring anytime soon. But I mean, we can't even find what I would consider a realistic builder. And
Yeah, and we're sorry that you're having those issues, and but we try to keep these decisions as objective as possible, and just we look at the regulations and the laws that we follow, and base our decisions on that fact. It's not you know, it's a crazy real estate market, and the sales have been extremely high.
But are you all paying attention to the actual ground conditions? And some of these places up where we're talking have private water mains that feed the lots. Many of them have fiber, CenturyLink, whatever the cable company is up here.
It's pretty
They
common.
have Butte Power, they have gas. We don't have any of that.
Yes, they take all that into account when they do the valuations. Yes.
So, okay, well, I said, that's why we can, and I'm not trying to tear in anybody too hard, but I've not gotten anywhere in 5 years. So that's why in Nebraska, we bought some land recently that's ag land, and our assessor determined, and this is the new thing where we're at, is they say, well, it's highest and best use. So they tax you on its highest and best use. Well, that's not what's being used for. So we fought that and we won. And we had a massive reduction in price, and everybody else whose ag land was being taxed as commercial, their land all through Lincoln County was all lowered back down to ag land. So I'm just trying to make sure that none of that's going on this stuff. So, and you know, if we build a house on this, do we still, we have 50 acres. Do you still get any type of ag exemption?
You can if you meet two of the
Criteria.
yeah, criteria.
And the criteria.
You've got the acreage, you've got more than 40.
Okay.
If you can bring in, I think it's $2,500 a year.
3 out of 5. Is that what it is?
For ag use.
Yeah.
Is it now 3 out of 5?
Yeah.
Which is probably all in the information that they gave you.
It's all state law.
Hold on, if he doesn't have acreage, he just has to prove a primary ag use.
No, he does have.
Yes.
Right.
So he would only have to have
He doesn't
an
have to
ag
receive.
use. He
That's
wouldn't
what I
have-
thought.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
wouldn't have to have the money
Yeah.
portion of it.
But you would need a contract saying that you're
Right.
raising those cattle. It's not enough just to have the cattle on your land. You would need a
No,
contract.
you gotta have.
And do a
you gotta
horse
prove it.
qualify?
No,
No.
horses do not.
And they can go through all that detail. It's well worth
What's a
an hour of
catalog?
your time or half an hour of your time just to have
Oh,
these
yeah.
people explain it to you.
Mhm.
Because you're gonna save much money when you get it changed to it. And it's not hard.
Well,
Oh, I know.
People
You
ask-
get a big wad of paper, but just ask the question and they'll fill in the blanks. So let you know where to go and who to talk to or give you some ideas anyway and go from there.
okay, and then on the forestry deal,
It doesn't have to be trees. it can be cattle grazed. It can be, just because you have trees doesn't mean you gotta use the trees. But
It's
that's, I don't have those answers, but there's a lot of
That's
answers out
different.
there.
They'll give you a tax break if you got a forest management on your property, because you'll come in, they'll provide you, okay, you do this, take down the, if you got bug trees on your property, take the bug trees off. You got a plan to manage a healthy forest. It's not a clear cut, it's a management of production trees, but keeping production trees in there promote more growth in the future. So it's a management plan for your property, for forest.
You could sell $2,500 worth of firewood off your
Yeah.
place each year, as long as you have proof that you actually sold that.
Okay, so does the agronomist have to be from South Dakota
No,
or
It's
Wyoming,
just like-
Nebraska, anywhere?
no,
We're out of the scope of what we're.
We are, yeah. So, yeah, these are questions that we can handle outside of the meeting, and we have a lot of business to do. So
Well,
we need to
I
move
appreciate
on.
your time.
Yep,
So
appreciate you coming up.
honestly, I got more information here today than I've gotten in 5 years, so I do appreciate it. So, okay, thank you very much.
So what do we want to do on this appeal is?
I think for this year it has to stay, and then hopefully shortly he'll have the ag exemption paperwork in, and next year it won't even be a question. Applied and handled. Yes, so I guess I would have to make the motion to deny the appeal, but definitely get that. It's not gonna be that tough. It's just a matter of finding the steps.
Okay, it's been moved by Flanagan, second by Tisdale to deny the appeal. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Nay.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks for coming up. Where do we want to go next?
Greg Brzezich and 4 6.
Speaking of ag. So he did apply for and qualify for ag. So all of these are gonna be stepping down to ag lands. We'll start with the parcel that ends in -50. It was 13.26 acres. The NAC value is going to go from $131,300 down to $3,990.
Our hands are tied on this. Motion to follow recommendation.
Second. Been moved by Ewing, seconded by Tisdale to follow recommendations and reclassified as ag land. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes.
Okay, the next one will be the parcel number ending in -30. It's 11.15 acres. The NACS land is gonna go from 120,750 and it's gonna change to AG-C. And it'll be $2,860.
So follow the recommendation.
Second.
Moved by Tisdale, second by Ewing to follow recommendation and reclassify the ag status. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes.
Okay, the next one ends in -20. It is 10.48 acres. It's gonna go from $117,400 down to $3,240.
Move to follow the recommendation.
Second.
Moved by Tisdale, second by Ewing to follow recommendations and move to ag status. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes.
Okay, the last one ends in -40. It's 17.56 acres. It's gonna go, the land value is gonna go from $152,800 to $4,850.
Follow the recommendation.
Been moved by Tisdale, second by Comer to follow recommendation, move to ag status. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion passes.
Okay, R&M Services are the owners of the lot that the house was built on by mistake, or the permit was applied to by mistake. So we're going to remove the structure value because it does not exist. The structure does not exist. So the NAD value will stay at 108.
There is or isn't a house on this?
There is not a house on this one.
Okay.
No.
This is the one that were given the wrong information on the lot.
Yeah.
Parcel
Yep.
number from the city.
Yep. So the NAD value will stay at 108,350. We're gonna remove the NAD one value of $612,350. So the new value will go from $720,700 to $108,350.
Second. Moved by Flanagan, second by Comer to follow recommendations, make the adjustment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Same deal with Sanito. It's non-ag to ag. He qualifies for and applied for it. So the parcel that ends in -20, it's 1.32 acres. The land value is going to go from $7,640 to $190.
Follow recommendations. Second.
How is he qualified?
40 acres within
No.
20 miles.
What,
He's haying it and he's selling the hay off of it.
off 1.7 acres?
No, the second parcel is 35 acres.
All right.
So the parcel that ends in -19, 34.85 acres. It's going to go from NACS at $210,400 to AG-C at $5,590.
Motion to follow recommendation on the one ending in .20.
Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded, or moved by Ewing, seconded by Comer for 202-20. Move that to ag status. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay.
I'll make a motion to follow recommendation on the 202-19.
Second. Moved by Ewing, seconded by Comer to make the same adjustment to 19. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion passed.
Okay, Karen Schlehoff lives on Pendo Road, and she had called me because her access to her well and other things had been restricted by her neighbor, wouldn't allow her to use, I don't know, it's a complicated situation. So she was upset about having access to her well, and to do this, it would have cost her, was quoted about $500,000 to do a road that came from her property down into the draw where her well sits. Anyway, so I went out and I actually did a full review of the property. I looked at the interior of the home, looked at the exterior, walked the lot, and looked at other surrounding lots next to her that actually have adjustments for topography. So what I did is I actually adjusted hers to be equalized with the other lots that are around her. So upon review, it was determined that the quality of the structure was overstated. The asphalt was actually incorrectly stated on the record. And then I adjusted the land for the topography as it is steep and rolling, just like everybody else who's adjusted around her. So what I'm planning on doing is the land is gonna go from an NAC-S from 164,240 to 133,320. And the structure value is going to go from 655,620 to 575,820. So the total will go from 118,860 to 709,140.
Follow recommendation. Second. Been moved by Flanagan, second by Tisdale to follow recommendation that adjust the value down due to topography and conditions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion passes.
All right, so the next two involve one parcel that was split after a permit review was completed just shortly after. So it wasn't caught that the property had been split. So the owners requested that we ensure that the house structure was put on the proper lot now. So, because it had been on the entire parent lot and then subdivided into two and ended up on the wrong lot. So with 26695101705, number 240, and then the other one will be 250. So 240, the land is at, the assessed value is at 119,600 for the land, but it's changing to have the land be at 119,600 with a structure of 254,420. Okay, as a total value of 374.20.
Motion follow recommendation.
Second.
And then just for the follow-up on this lot, it's 3.55 acres, valued at 254,420. Has also gone to 122,670 due to the acreage size going. It's been reduced in value.
Okay, so we got a motion from Flanagan, second by Ewing, to follow recommendations for 240.00. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay. And then we're 250.00. Is that the one you just spoke
That's
of?
the one you just, so that's the other one. So.
Motion to follow recommendations.
Second. Motion by Ewing, second by Flanagan to follow recommendations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay.
All right, so now we have appeals. So this is for parcel in the Apple Springs subdivision.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
you want us to order lunch or not?
I think we can go through.
Yeah, we just got what, one on the last page, and then this one?
I think we're just going through.
Yeah.
So you want, anybody want their delicious beverage that you ordered now, or I can save it for later?
I'll take the delicious bread.
Okay.
That'd be great.
If you have it, Brenda.
Yep.
And let's put in.
Which one of you got this?
Okay,
Sure. Okay, so parcel number 18010-1900-060-060-00 is in the northern portion of the development of Apple Springs. And the assessed value is in appeal. But we found that lots are increasing in the area for value, as well as we found comparisons with exact same shape that are actually a little bit smaller, and they sold for 225,000. We have another one that 300,000, another one across, but still on the way into the cul-de-sac, 229,000. We have another one at 244,000. So we're recommending that the assessed value remain as is.
Motion to follow recommendation.
second. And moved by Ewing, second by Tisdale, follow recommendations and deny the appeal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes. Appeal denied.
Okay. Parcel number 18010-01900-030-00. This is still in the northern section of Apple Springs at the end of Apple Springs Boulevard. This assessed value is being contested. It's at 259,500, and we're showing lots where they still are selling high up in that same area. So the subject is 1.460 acres. Comparison number one is 1.210 at 229. 1.46 is at 300,000. 0.99 acres at 244,000. 0.590 at 225,000. And 1.74 at 240,000. So we're recommending no change.
And follow recommendation. Second.
Moved by Tisdale, seconded by Comer to follow recommendations and deny the appeal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, the next one is the Aches Family Trust. They are appealing their owner occupied status. Basically, they meet all the qualifications to be owner occupied. They were living there before November 1st. They just didn't meet the deadline. And I did consult the state, and they said that's okay, they can appeal it. They just have to meet the November 1st deadline, and they were living there. So I would recommend giving them owner occupied, since they were owner occupied as of November 1st.
Follow the recommendation.
Second.
And moved by Tisdale, seconded by Comer to follow recommendations and grant the owner occupied exemption. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Didn't meet the deadline.
Motion carries.
Sticky note people.
Feel good.
I'm just following you. Oh, which team back in?
Dale Bell,
Mr.
he
Chairman,
appealed.
Before we start, I better recuse myself because these are my parking lots that I rent from Mr. Bell.
Okay, duly noted.
So the first one we'll talk about is the one that ends in 030-20. I am gonna do an in-house correction on that one, because he did have like an old shed on that property. I went and walked it and it is torn down now, so I'm just gonna remove that $3,550 that we had on it. So the land is 0.21 acres, NAD, it'll stay at $90,000. But we'll just get rid of that 3,550 NAD one.
Move to follow recommendation. Second.
And moved by Tisdale, seconded by Ewing to follow recommendations and adjust the value down. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion carries.
And then, like the commissioner said, it is the parking lot for what's Flanagan's now, I guess, but I always think of it as Sanford's. That one, he says there's no structures on it. There's obviously an asphalt parking lot. So we have $11,000 on it. So I'll pass these around, but I mean, these are just some land sales that I've had in Spearfish over the last few years. And we have that whole asphalt parking lot parcel assessed at $82,000. So I just can't see that it would be anywhere close to being open market value. We've got 14,000 acre lots in Spearfish selling for $250,000. So
Your recommendation is to be where it's at.
what's that?
What's your recommendation?
I'm recommending no change.
I move to follow recommendation.
Second.
Moved by Tisdale, seconded by Comer to follow recommendations and leave the evaluation as is. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All any opposed? Motion passes. The appeal essentially denied.
Read this one, let's read it.
There you go. Well, that's what you were talking about earlier. Oh.
So
Part of the county we go into now.
we're in Boulder Canyon.
It must be your favorite place.
I do actually like it. Thank you. Okay, so we have Mr. Dunnerman's property in the Alice subdivision of the Alice Florence Naomi neighborhood. He was showing his value, which I had left the assessment in Alice Florence Naomi as they were from last year, due to sales that were proven to be in duress and cluster sales from the High Ridge development. And so what I have shown here is that I've gone from using comp number 1 as in it's still in Boulder Canyon, so is comp number 2 as in Two-Bit Road, and then out to Lawrence County and others, park, forest, and topography land, out to Lookout Mountain in Spearfish, another Lookout Mountain, Centennial Vista, And then one of the High Ridge properties, because I couldn't prove any membership of the LLC conflicts like I could with the other four, I have left that on the grid. So you'll see that Mr. Donovan has his property is 2.68 acres. It's assessed at, well, I guess I'm fired. I didn't write it down. Oh wait, yes I did. 106,720,000. Comp number 2 sold across the highway at 225,000. At 3 acres, 3.25 acres. 2 acres in Two-Bit Road, 155,000. There's a 0 missing, sorry. Okay, Lookout Mountain Tract 4A is 3.28 acres at 132. Tract 9C is 2.70 acres at 158,777. Out at Centennial Vista, we have 2.32 acres at 165,000. And then the one High Ridge is at 5 acres, sold for 135 as an outlier. I'm recommending no change, as you cannot find 2 to 3 acres under $100,000 this past year in 2025 throughout.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second.
Then moved by Ewing, second by Tisdale, to follow recommendation and not for no change. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
This isn't the one we went to hear on last year, was it?
It is.
It's the same guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we did get to speak. I did my due diligence and really did a lot of note taking for him and let him see what I was reviewing. Because we did have sales there, but the comps were invalid.
That happened last year, or didn't it? Or it was using sales that we couldn't use, I think.
Yeah, that ended up happening as well. Yes. Okay. So number 47 I have is an Apple Springs lot. It's number 180100000-040-00. This is a utility lot. I don't know how these got, oh, I know what happened. These got flipped. So this one's a stipulation. This was a utility lot that we found that our camera system was multiplying and we had to adjust this. And so we had fixed it, corrected it. So the land is at 4,960 for 2026. It'll remain at 4,960. And then the structure will go from $72,040 to $56,870. So in total, 2026 value 77,000 will go down to 61,830. That's my recommendation.
Motion to approve recommendation.
Second. And moved by Coleman, seconded by Flanagan to follow recommendations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes.
We have Apple Springs lot 18010-07000-070-00 is assessed. It's a 4.480 acres, assessed at 150,000. The comparisons are along the golf course on Burger, same as the subject, and showing views of the golf course. Comparison number 1, 0.450 acres is sold for 189,000. Comp number 2, 0.46 acres sold for 189. 0.52 acres sold for 170, and then another lot overlooking the golf course, 0.563 acres sold for 147 with topo and access issues. I recommend no change for this lot.
Move follow recommendation.
Second. Okay, moved by Tisdale, second by Ewing. Recommendations for no change. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carried.
So for this one, we're on parcel number 18010-010 000-090-00. Well, I should do it. Then appeal is for the value. This is in the same area as this last redo we just did on lot 7. So this is lot 9.420 acres is valued at 150,000. Comp number 1 is 0.480 acres at 155,000. We have 0.5450 at 189,000. 0.460 acres at 169. 0.520 acres at 170, and our $147,000 lot. I recommend no change.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second. Moved by Ewing, second by Comer to follow recommendation for no change. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Motion passed.
Okay. So this is for lot parcel number 18010-0130-010-00. This is up in the northern part of Apple Springs Boulevard. It's on the interior of the road on the corner. It's valued, it's 0.540 acres, valued at 150,000. In comparison, we have in the same lot sold July 7th, 2025 for $160,000. It previously sold in 2021 for $149,000. And then we have a 0.544, I'm sorry, I should have brought my glasses. 0.544 acres at 170,000. In 2021, this lot here was at 0.579 acres. It sold for 135,000. And the neighboring lot next to the corner lot is at 0.4630 or 3 acres. It sold for 125. So the values are there, and I showed the outlier because it's right next door and I had to. So, but I recommend no change due to how high the sales have remained.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second.
Moved by Comer, seconded by Ewing to follow recommendations and deny the appeal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Appeal is denied.
All right, and last Apple Springs lot is parcel number 18010-01000-080-00. This is similar to lot 7 and 9 that you've already looked at. Same side of the street. And those comps are along the golf course off of Wildberger. This is a 0.450 acre lot assessed at 150,000. We have 0.480 at 155, 0.460 at 189, 0.520 at 170, and 147,000 for a 0.563 acre lot. I recommend no change.
Follow recommendation.
Second.
Moved by Tisdale, seconded by Comer to follow recommendations and deny the appeal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Appeal is denied.
Richard Langer appealed his lot that sits north on 85 across from the county building.
Yeah.
He believes that it should only be worth about $63,000 and no more than that. Oh shoot. Can I see that real quick, Brandon? Thank you.
Pass that back.
So what?
Don't give me.
No, it's right on the highway.
Yeah, by the county shop on.
You know where that's, the camper and all that stuff's piled up?
Yeah. Okay. So he has 6.49 acres out there. The current assessed value is at $84,870. So what I did, I looked for some comparables that were in a corridor or off the interstate or off the highway. couple hundred feet, if even that. So my first comparable is lot C1B. It is located just north of Whitewood off of I-90. There are 2 sheds on the property that do not have any value because they are under the 120 square foot requirement. That one sold for $125,000 in 2025, in June of 2025. The second one, the second comparable, is a second 7-acre lot. I know it's a little bit bigger, is located east of the subject. This lot is off Highway 34 coming out of Whitewood towards St. Ange. It is a junkyard with no value structure on the premises. It sold for $90,000. The third comparable is 8 acres. It's located northwest of subject property on Brookview, just north of I-90. Would consider inferior due to shape and topography, but superior in location. It sold for $185,075. And then my last comparable 4, was 8.27 acres. Lot is located southwest of subject of Highway 14, I-90 and Homestake Road. Superior in size, but has same issues as far as being off a busy highway and interstate. And that one sold for $330,000. So his $84,000, I'm recommending no change.
Follow recommendation.
Second.
Moved by Tisdale, seconded by Ewing to follow recommendations and deny the appeal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion carries, appeal denied.
All right, we have just one more owner occupied one before our last one. This is also the same thing. They were there way before November 1st, honestly. Just didn't apply in time, but they met all the requirements for owner occupied. So I'm recommending to get them owner occupied.
But they missed the deadline.
They did.
Move to
But-
follow
but
recommendation.
It does say on the appeal thing that you can appeal your owner occupied status. And the state said that was all right. Just have to meet that November 1st deadline to be there.
You can second the motions.
I'll second.
Then moved by Tisdale, seconded by Comer to follow recommendations and grant owner occupied status. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
No.
Okay, motion carried.
Deadline.
Those are the rules.
So Michael Wyrick owns that junkyard lot off of 34. And his mother had a mobile home there for many years. Well, she is deceased now, and he came in and they had actually tore the mobile home down well before the November 1st deadline. So basically what I'm doing is the mobile home was on lease site. So I'm actually going to remove that. Then a CM1 value will go from $17,230 to $0 because it is gone.
Motion to follow recommendation.
Second.
Been moved by Ewing, seconded by Comer to follow recommendations and adjust the value of property down.
No, they didn't.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
That's perfect.
Any more?
That's it.
We're done.
Yeah.
Recess.
Motion to recess for the next.
Okay, we,
The only reason we might appeal again is because of the exemption.
Usually review.
Yeah, sure.
do we need a second then, probably?
Yeah, probably.
Did we have a second, so leave?
I'll second. I don't know what it is, but yes.
Okay, we have been moved by Tisdale, seconded by Flanagan to recess the Board of Equalization until May, where are we?
April 28th.
April 28th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
All right, I'm gonna shut the recording off.
Okay, motion, we are recessed.
This has been the easiest.